Soon, wanted posters of Tu-san plastered the entire city. As Prime Minister, Yi Liuzhai commanded respect. The authorities immediately sent officers to scour the capital, and even the city guards stepped up inspections of travelers leaving the city to help capture Tu-san. Yet, Tu-san seemed to have vanished into thin air. 2 days passed without a single clue. Meanwhile, news of concubine Lu's disappearance couldn't be kept secret for long. The Prime Minister's concubine had run off, sparking endless gossip at court. People's eyes toward Yi Liuzhai were complicated, some sympathetic, but more filled with schadenfreude. The townsfolk turned it into a hot topic over meals. Where on earth had the concubine gone? The mansion descended into chaos, with nerves frayed and uncertainty looming. Yi Shangxiang had barely slept in days, plagued by anxiety. She knew concubine Lu's disappearance was no accident, it had to be Yi Piaoling's revenge. But she had no idea where concubine Lu was hidden, even fearing that Yi Piaoling had killed her and concealed the body somewhere. Most likely, she was hidden in the Wenxiang courtyard. The thought sent chills down Yi Xiangxiang's spine. She had once wronged Yi Piaoling and now regretted it deeply, torn between fearing Yi Piaoling's unforgiveness and desperate to know what had happened to concubine Lu. Late at night, unable to sleep, Yi Shangxiang dressed quietly and slipped toward the Wenxiang courtyard. She wanted to uncover the truth. The Wenxiang courtyard was cold and deserted. Carefully, Yi Shangxiang searched, her fear battling her curiosity. She passed through room after room, courtyard after courtyard. Finally, she reached the junk-filled side yard. Is anyone there? Anyone here? Suddenly, a woman's cry came from underground. Yi Shangxiang gasped and turned to run. Someone help! The voice faltered, and she stopped in her tracks. It was unmistakably concubine Lu's voice. In the darkness, a chill ran down Yi Shangxiang's spine, but she summoned her courage and groped toward the sound. Finally, she arrived at the edge of a dry well. Looking down, she was shocked to see Aunt Lu and Tu-san. You too! Yi Shangxiang gasped in surprise. These two missing people were actually at the bottom of the mansion's well. Aunt Lu was stunned upon seeing Yi Shangxiang, then burst into tears of joy. They were starving, and after discussing it, decided they'd rather risk everything than die trapped in the well. Unexpectedly, the one who came to save them was the timid second miss. Aunt Lu sighed, feeling that fate hadn't abandoned her. Second miss, please help us out. Aunt Lu called urgently. Yi Shangxiang glared at them. How did you end up here? We were framed. Aunt Lu said. Quick, find a rope and pull us up. Yi Shangxiang was shocked. The relationship between these two was ambiguous. You actually? With this cook? No, I have to tell father. She turned to run. Stop right there. Aunt Lu threatened, if you tell master, I'll expose your role in plotting against the eldest miss. Let's see how he punishes you. You? Yi Shangxiang froze under the threat. Aunt Lu said coldly, plotting against the legitimate sister is a capital offense. If you don't want it exposed, hurry up and find a rope to pull us out. Yi Shangxiang hesitated. We're all in the same boat, and should keep each other's secrets. Aunt Lu's tone softened. You saved me today, I'll be grateful and will help you in return. Under this blend of threats and promises, Yi Shangxiang thought for a long time before finally nodding. She feared her own plot against Yi Piaoling would be uncovered, and Aunt Lu sounded sincere. Not far away, Yi Shangxiang found a rope. Following Aunt Lu's instructions, she tied it to the pulley and lowered it down. Tu-san quickly climbed up the rope, then pulled Aunt Lu out of the well. Seeing them emerge, Yi Shangxiang couldn't help but ask, how do you plan to explain this to father? Everyone thinks you two eloped. Aunt Lu said, second miss, we'll need your help. Tell master that we've been hiding here with your protection these past few days. Yi Shangxiang stepped back. How can I lie to father? I don't have the courage, and he wouldn't believe me. Aunt Lu sneered, aren't you afraid I'll reveal your role in the plot against eldest miss? Yi Shangxiang anxiously replied, you're the mastermind. If you say anything, you'll be punished too. Aunt Lu said, second miss, I'm all in. Yi Shangxiang shook her head. I can only rescue you. I won't help with anything else. You figure it out yourself. Fearing exposure, she turned to leave. Don't go. Aunt Lu fixed her with a cold smile. Whether you want to help or not, you will. Uneasy, Yi Shangxiang asked, what do you mean? Aunt Lu whispered a few words to Tu-san. Tu-san looked surprised. Are you sure? Aunt Lu said, only this way will she listen. Tu-san nodded. All right, I'm not losing out anyway. He stepped toward Yi Shangxiang. What do you want? She asked, heart pounding as she backed away in terror. Tu-san suddenly covered her mouth. Yi Shangxiang struggled desperately but was powerless. Tu-san dragged her into an abandoned, dusty room. Aunt Lu shut the door, stuffed a rag into Yi Xiangxiang's mouth, and whispered to Tu San, "Hurry, don't get caught." Tu San smiled. "You're ruthless, this was your idea after all." He began tearing at Yi Xiangxiang's clothes. She trembled all over, terrified, realizing what Tu San intended but unable to believe it. She couldn't understand what they truly wanted. Until she was pinned down on the cold floor. Fear overwhelmed her, she tried to scream but no sound came out, tears streaming uncontrollably. Aunt Lu crossed her arms, watching coldly. Tu San grew more excited, while Aunt Lu impatiently urged, "Are you done yet? I told you to ruin her purity, not have fun." Tu San laughed, "This was your idea, don't complain." Aunt Lu cursed, "Beast! When you were with me, did you ever work this hard?" Tu San thought, this faded old woman can't compare to this young miss. Still, he sped up his actions. The darkness concealed every vile act. When Tu San rose, Yi Xiangxiang collapsed, face streaked with tears. Aunt Lu grabbed her chin viciously. "Now you owe us, right? If you don't help, I'll tell everyone a servant took your virginity. No one in the capital will want you, and you'll never marry." Yi Xiangxiang trembled, this threat was lethal. For a moment, she wished to die but didn't even have the courage. Sobbing, tears fell again. Aunt Lu sneered, thinking, "You useless crybaby deserve to be used." She rolled her eyes and softened her tone, saying, "Don't be too upset. As long as you help us get through this crisis, no one will ever know what happened tonight. Besides, I know a secret technique that can fully restore your body. Once healed, you'll be like a pure young lady, no one will suspect a thing, even if you enter the palace." Yi Xiangxiang looked up, her eyes filled with regret and hatred. More than anything, there was despair, fear, and confusion. She sobbed for a long time before quietly asking, Is it really true?" "Of course it's true." Aunt Lu patted her hand. "In the end, you'll still be the proud second miss of the Xiang residence. You're so delicate and charming, how could you not have a bright future?" Yi Xiangxiang closed her eyes in hopelessness, with no choice at all. Aunt Lu smiled smugly. From that moment on, Yi Xiangxiang became nothing more than her pawn, controlled and used by her. The next morning, a servant rushed to report to Yi Liuzhai, "Master, Aunt Lu has been found, she's with the second miss." "What?" Yi Liuzhai frowned. The servant continued, "Earlier, Aunt Lu was possessed by an evil spirit, speaking nonsense." The second miss was very worried. She heard of a Taoist ritual requiring 3 days of seclusion and incense burning to expel the evil and pray for blessings for you and the unborn young master. The ritual had to be kept secret, any leak would cause it to fail. The second miss secretly brought Aunt Lu to the study, and even the cook, Tu San, was brought in to prepare meals for her. They only informed everyone after the ritual was completed this morning. Half in doubt, Yi Liuzhai hurried to the study. The Xiang residence's courtyard had a study rarely visited. Inside, the floor was scattered with incense ash and talisman papers. Aunt Lu knelt by the incense burner and quickly stood up to salute Yi Liuzhai, "Master." Yi Xiangxiang stood nearby, her face haggard, softly saying, "Father." Yi Liuzhai glared at Yi Xiangxiang angrily. "Aunt Lu has been here all this time?" Yi Xiangxiang nodded. "Foolish." Yi Liuzhai scolded, "Why didn't you tell me? Do you know what a huge embarrassment this caused the Xiang residence?" Yi Xiangxiang knelt, crying and pleading, "Aunt Lu was praying for you, father. She had to keep it secret, or the ritual wouldn't work." Aunt Lu also said, "Master, please calm down. The second miss did all this for your sake." Yi Liuzhai stared at them, filled with both anger and relief. Relief that it was all a misunderstanding. He felt the worries he'd held were finally lifted. But anger remained over Yi Xiangxiang's secret actions, which had stirred gossip throughout the capital. "Don't make decisions on your own anymore." Yi Liuzhai scolded Yi Xiangxiang, "Go and reflect on your actions." Then he turned to Aunt Lu, "You go back and rest. Don't bother yourself with these trivial matters." The mystery of Aunt Lu's disappearance was finally cleared up. With the second miss as a witness, no one doubted the truth, including Yi Liuzhai himself. After all, everyone knew the second miss was timid and afraid of trouble, unfamiliar with Aunt Lu, and would never protect her. Meanwhile, the cook Tu San, thinking all was well, tried to go out to gamble as usual. But just upon leaving the residence, he was arrested by the city guards. The authorities sought Yi Liuzhai's instructions on how to handle the matter. Yi Liuzhai's face darkened as he said, "This thief should be punished according to the law." The rumors linking Aunt Lu and Tu San had circulated for days. Even if Tu San was innocent, he couldn't stay in the Xiang residence, it would make them a laughingstock. Let him rot in jail, Yi Liuzhai thought. Closing his eyes, he pictured Tu San, feeling that somehow they were a strange match. After some thought, he suddenly stood up and headed to the palace to see Physician Bien. He decided to have physician Bian examine Aunt Lu again to confirm whether she was truly pregnant. After a careful pulse diagnosis, physician Bian concluded the baby's condition was stable and doing well. The words stable and improving eased Yi Liuzhai's mind. He patted Aunt Lu and smiled. That cook in your courtyard was dirty-handed. I've already sent him away. I even sent someone to find a new cook from your hometown to prepare your meals. Grateful, Aunt Lu said. Thank you, master. After Yi Liuzhai left, her eyes immediately turned cold and ruthless. Though she had survived, she had lost 2 san. What frustrated her most was that their first meeting in the well where their wedding preparations were underway ended when the rope snapped, and nothing was completed. For the next 2 days, they were both lost in despair, with no chance for intimacy. Aunt Lu deeply regretted not taking more chances to get close. Maybe then she could have gotten pregnant. Now she understood she never could. A false pregnancy might fool the pulse for a while, but if she didn't conceive before the arrival of the Kuei water period, it would be exposed soon enough. Clenching her fists, Aunt Lu vowed not to sit idly by. Her gaze turned venomous as a bold plan flashed through her mind. At the Luoying courtyard, Yi Piaoling heard of this and was quite surprised. She hadn't expected Aunt Lu to be saved by Yi Shangxiang and narrowly escape death. Fox Shadow said, I heard that second Miss fell ill after being scolded by Master, with a persistent high fever. Yi Piaoling sighed. Yi Shangxiang's dedication to Mistress Lu must mean she held some leverage over her. Fox Shadow continued, Master is having dinner with eldest Miss tonight to discuss enrollment at the Tianwen sect. The Tianwen sect is a prestigious school for nobles in the Dali Kingdom. Children of dukes and nobles can enroll there to cultivate once they come of age. Fox Shadow expressed concern, Master has high hopes for you, using the restoration of your immortal vein as a reason, hoping you will come out on top in future competitions. Yi Piaoling asked, did Father come out on top at Tianwen sect back in the day? Master comes from a common background and never had the chance to enter Tianwen sect. Even if he did, with his martial talent, he'd probably rank near the bottom. Yi Liuzhai was ultimately a civil official, with 0 martial cultivation. That evening, Yi Liuzhai arrived with a smile. He rarely dined with Yi Piaoling, but tonight he specially ordered the kitchen to prepare extra dishes. Seeing the koi fish in the tank, Yi Liuzhai frowned. Piaoling, why is this fish dead? Yi Piaoling said, it's not dead. Yi Liuzhai looked closely. The koi was belly up, floating on the surface. He doubted, not dead? Yi Piaoling insisted, not dead. It probably thinks this position helps it contemplate its fish life. Yi Liuzhai was speechless. He thought to himself, Piaoling really has changed since coming back. She even likes keeping dead fish pretending they're alive. But it's harmless, so he let it go. They sat down. Yi Liuzhai said, Piaoling, Tianwen sect's enrollment is coming soon. You and Shangxiang are old enough now. I've made all the arrangements, you'll register together. Yi Piaoling nodded, okay. Though she didn't want to attend school, she had no reason to refuse. Yi Liuzhai continued, I heard the Regent Prince will also attend the apprenticeship ceremony this time. There'll be a contest for the top disciple. You must participate actively and make a good impression on the Regent Prince. Yi Piaoling blinked. What? Emperor Xiulan will be there on enrollment day too? Last time, she left a decent impression on Emperor Xiulan, almost got fed to a dragon by him. Yi Liuzhai went on, you have the immortal vein, the royal family values you highly. If you perform well in the Tianwen sect contest, your future will be bright. And, the daughter of General Hua will enroll with you. I've never gotten along with General Hua, he's proud of his daughter. You must work twice as hard and never lose to her. Yi Piaoling let it wash over her, occasionally nodding to humor him. Okay, I got it. As they spoke, the servants began bringing out the dishes. Meanwhile, in the kitchen, Mistress Lu sneaked in quietly. She knew Master would dine at eldest Miss's room tonight. If she could take out both of them at the right moment, she wouldn't have to fear anymore. The other mistresses in the mansion had no children. Second Miss Yi Shangxiang was under her control, and Yi Tianbao was her own son. The Yi mansion's future would undoubtedly be hers to command. This is segment 1 of 15. Please follow the logic below. Maintain the original paragraph structure, line breaks, and overall layout. Return only the processed text. The meals for Luoying courtyard were all prepared, with only the final soup left to serve. Aunt Lu approached the stove and said, This soup smells wonderful. May I have a bowl? The servants, knowing she was pregnant, naturally dared not refuse. She picked up the ladle and stirred lightly twice. The powder hidden under her fingernails quietly fell into the soup. No one noticed. Aunt Lu sneered inwardly. Yi Liuzhai, I once hoped you'd die soon, but now I'm poisoning you with my own hands. At Luoying courtyard, Yi Liaozhai's early education was nearly complete, and the last soup was brought to him. Pretending to be a loving father, he personally ladled soup for Yi Piaoling and said, "Linger, after hearing so much, don't disappoint your father." He served himself a bowl as well. Yi Piaoling didn't like soup, but since her father served it herself, she wanted to try a sip. As her lips neared the steaming bowl, her heart jolted. The soup is poisoned. Thanks to the martial skills rewarded by the system, her senses sharpened instantly, detecting something wrong. She suddenly looked up. Yi Chancellor had already taken a sip and was about to take a second. Yi Piaoling jumped up and slapped the bowl away. "Put!" Yi Liaozhai tilted his head, spitting out all the soup. He glared at her, about to speak. Yi Piaoling quickly said, "The soup is poisoned." Though she disliked him, she couldn't watch him be poisoned and be implicated in patricide. Poisoned? Yi Liaozhai's face changed. He had just taken a sip. Yi Piaoling said, "Father, I'll help you induce vomiting." Before she finished, she grabbed the teapot and forced water down his throat. A whole pot of water rushed in, churning in Yi Liaozhai's stomach. Taking advantage, Yi Piaoling struck his abdomen with a palm. "Ah!" Yi Liaozhai flew back from his chair, hitting the ground and vomiting. "Ugh, ugh." He lay on the floor, vomiting violently, trembling all over. After a while of vomiting, Yi Piaoling anxiously asked, "Have you emptied your stomach? Is there more?" Yi Liaozhai gasped, "Seems like there's still some." Without hesitation, she grabbed his collar and slapped him hard again. "Wah!" Yi Liaozhai was knocked over, rolling while vomiting once more. Yi Piaoling asked, "Is it clear now?" Tears streaming down, Yi Liaozhai nodded shakily after a long moment. "That's good," she breathed a sigh of relief. This soup was highly toxic. Without induced vomiting, you'd be dead. She then ordered the servants, "Help father rest quickly and find a doctor to check for any remaining poison." The servants were stunned but hurried to assist Yi Liaozhai. His complexion turned pale as his gaze fixed on the soup bowl. This poisonous hand had tried to kill both him and Yi Piaoling in one strike. News quickly spread throughout the capital. The Yi household was in turmoil. Poison was found in the soup. Yi Chancellor was unharmed thanks to timely induced vomiting, but the pregnant Aunt Lu drank a bowl and miscarried. Aunt Lu didn't die because the poison was absorbed by the fetus. Though she lost the child, she survived. Everything was designed by herself. The best way to clear suspicion was to play the victim. Yi Piaoling immediately understood. Aunt Lu both escaped suspicion and conveniently aborted the unborn child, winning without losing. Yi Piaoling sighed. Aunt Lu's scheming was deep. If not for that one honest moment, she might have truly become the main wife. Furious, Yi Liaozhai sent all the kitchen servants to the Ministry of Justice prison for interrogation. Then he stormed to the fragrance pavilion to harshly scold Aunt Lu, blaming her for not properly taking care during pregnancy. After scolding, Yi Liaozhai left. Aunt Lu knelt, dazed and distraught, narrowly escaping death once more. But she knew Yi Chancellor was not punishing her for now only because he was busy hunting the poisoner. She could only hide for a while. Yi Liaozhai never intended to keep her. Once he calmed down and grew suspicious, she would die without a burial place. To survive, she could no longer stay at the Yi residence. Aunt Lu thought deeply and made a decision. She needed to get a large sum of money and escape. That night, Aunt Lu summoned Yi Shangxiang. The two met by the dry well in the courtyard. Yi Shangxiang looked haggard and fearful, asking, "Why did you call me?" Aunt Lu said coldly, "Within one day, I want 100,000 taels in silver notes." 100,000 taels? What are you planning this time? Yi Shangxiang was shocked. Aunt Lu sneered, "Don't ask so many questions." Yi Shangxiang trembled, "You poisoned the soup because you weren't really pregnant. You're afraid the truth will come out and want money to run." Aunt Lu smirked, "So what if that's true? It's too late now, you have no choice but to obey me." Yi Shangxiang asked, "What about Yi Tianbao? He's your own son. Aren't you going to take care of him?" Aunt Lu's expression darkened. "Tianbao is my flesh and blood, I care for him, but I can't stay here any longer. If I do, I'll be executed sooner or later. Then he'd lose his mother anyway." She gritted her teeth, "I've already sent him to be raised by another concubine. As the only male heir of the Yi family, the master won't let him suffer." Yi Shangxiang angrily said, "You're so cruel, poisoning your husband and abandoning your own son." "Enough nonsense!" Aunt Lu snapped impatiently. "Do as I say and prepare the money." Yi Shangxiang said helplessly, "I don't have that much money." Aunt Lu threatened, "No money? Then I'll expose your disgrace." She sneered, "Tu San is already in prison, everyone will know you were defiled by a prisoner." Yi Shangxiang turned pale, trembling uncontrollably. Aunt Lu took out a bottle of secret pills. "These pills can restore your body. Bring 100,000 taels tomorrow night, and I'll give them to you. Don't you want to clear your name? Yi Xiangxiang's eyes reddened. I do, but where am I supposed to get that money? Aunt Lu said coldly, that's your problem. Steal it, borrow it, whatever you do, get the money. If not, be prepared to go down with me. Yi Xiangxiang was driven to despair, trembling as she bit her lip. Aunt Lu ordered, stop standing there foolishly. Go and raise the money now. Yi Xiangxiang's eyes turned red. Suddenly, she reached out and grabbed the pill bottle. Aunt Lu screamed, you little bitch. How dare you resist? They struggled, Yi Xiangxiang pushed hard, and Aunt Lu staggered backward and fell into the dry well. Ah! A scream echoed, followed by a muffled thud. Yi Xiangxiang turned pale and collapsed, stunned. She had just pushed Aunt Lu into the well. The well was deep, Aunt Lu's death was certain. Yi Xiangxiang panicked, opened the bottle, and a familiar fragrance drifted out. It wasn't a restorative pill, it was the beauty pill commonly taken by noble ladies in the capital. She was stunned, Aunt Lu had deceived her. There was no pill to restore her reputation. Yi Xiangxiang trembled, sitting on the ground and crying, having caused harm with her own hands and not knowing what to do. Suddenly, a voice spoke. Are you just going to sit here and wait for someone to find out? Yi Xiangxiang turned around and saw Yi Piaoling approaching. Alarmed, she asked, you saw everything? Yi Piaoling didn't answer. She suspected that after Aunt Lu failed to poison her, she would take further steps, maybe come at night to investigate and follow Yi Xiangxiang. Having overheard their conversation clearly, she thought Aunt Lu's behavior, having her lover harass others, was despicable. No wonder Yi Xiangxiang was driven to such desperation. Panicked, Yi Xiangxiang asked, you definitely saw it. Are you going to tell father? Yi Piaoling replied calmly, absolutely not. I won't do anything that harms others without benefit to myself. Exposing Yi Xiangxiang would only make the Yi family a laughingstock in the capital. She continued, the Tianwen sect's new semester is about to start. If news of our family's disgrace spreads, we'll all be looked down upon and ridiculed by our peers. Yi Xiangxiang understood the reasoning and lowered her head, unsure what to do. What should I do? I pushed Aunt Lu into the well. Yi Piaoling thought for a moment and said, you saved her once before, now you're sending her back. It's a fitting way to close the loop. Yi Xiangxiang gave her a speechless look. Yi Piaoling added, let's leave quickly before anyone notices. With that, she turned and walked away. For this pitiful yet detestable half-sister, this was all she could say. Yi Xiangxiang slowly stood up, watching Yi Piaoling's back, her mind in turmoil. The recent grudges left her feelings toward her legitimate sister a tangled mix of jealousy, gratitude, and fear. The next day, a servant reported, Aunt Lu has gone missing again. Yi Liuozhai slammed his fist on the table, angry and frustrated. That wretched woman. Regret gnawed at him, he should have dealt with her earlier instead of letting her disappear every day. The incident made him feel betrayed, his face darkened. Go ask the second miss if she's hiding in the study again. Search every corner of the Yi residence. The servants immediately sprang into action. The question on everyone's mind, where had Aunt Lu gone? After a thorough search, it was confirmed that Aunt Lu was neither in the second Mrs. quarters nor anywhere else in the Yi residence. She had vanished completely. Yi Liuozhai pondered briefly, then ordered, tell everyone in the household that Aunt Lu lost the baby and, out of guilt, drowned herself. A servant asked, Master, what if she shows up again? Yi Liuozhai's expression darkened. Then throw her back into the well and let her finish what she started. With Aunt Lu gone, the Yi residence gradually returned to calm. Yi Piaoling finally enjoyed a few leisurely days. In the Falling Petals courtyard, there was a young lady who spent her days slacking off, a covert guard who preferred lying flat, and a koi fish that played dead on its back. The atmosphere was surprisingly harmonious. Lying in a rocking chair soaking up the sun, Yi Piaoling sighed, I really love this kind of peaceful life. I wish it could last forever. Her silly system reminded her, ding. Host, remember the Regent Prince's bathrobe? Yi Piaoling replied, don't rush. I'm waiting for the right moment. This mission is pretty challenging. She had hoped the celestial fish would help, but it turned out to be a total slacker. At least it didn't need feeding, so keeping it was hassle-free. As for the Regent Prince's mysterious bouts of deep sleep, Yi Piaoling wasn't confident about when or if they'd recur. The silly system said, it's not that hard, host, you just need confidence. The Regent Prince will attend the Tianwen sect's opening ceremony. If he wears his bathrobe, your chances will be great. Quack. Yi Piaoling snapped, you make a lot of sense. I really want to smack you. The system went on, getting the Regent Prince's bathrobe will bring unexpected surprises. Yi Piaoling sighed, don't worry, I'll try my best. Even if the Regent Prince doesn't wear the bathrobe at the ceremony, I'll still find ways to get close to him and talk about bathing. The system cheerfully responded, quack, quack, quack. On the first day of school, Yi Piaoling held her apprenticeship letter and took a carriage to Tianwen sect. Located in the bustling Imperial City district, Tianwen sect covered a vast area with beautiful scenery, rivaling a royal palace. When she got off, many new students had already gathered in the open space outside the sect, children of royalty, government officials, and wealthy families all present. Young noblemen and ladies clustered in small groups. Yi Shangxiang stood with 2 daughters of official families. Even before classes started, the second-generation elites were already forming cliques. In the distance, a woman in a fiery red dress with flowing black hair stood alone by the railing. Her cold, stunning beauty was like a fairy from a painting, but she seemed especially lonely. Someone whispered, "That's Hua Wang, the only princess of a different surname in Dali, born with celestial veins. She's one of the 3 prodigies of the imperial city." Yi Piaoling recalled Chancellor Yi mentioning another celestial vein bearer enrolling, the daughter of General Hua. Hua Wang was truly Dali's top beauty. Her allure was unique, radiating a phoenix's dominance. She stood nearly 6 feet tall, with long legs like a runway model. Legends said she was a capital city legend from birth. Her father, General Hua, was a doting father who favored daughters over sons, longing for a little girl to cherish. His wife bore 6 sons in a row. When she was about to give birth to the 7th child, General Hua returned victorious but gravely wounded, lying on his sickbed. Hearing his wife was in labor, he trembled and asked, "Is it a boy or a girl? If it's another boy, I won't survive." He then prepared to die. His subordinates urged, "General, don't go. It's a girl this time. The eldest miss." General Hua smiled through tears, and his condition miraculously improved. Hua Wang's birth saved her father's life. Soon, it was discovered she possessed celestial veins. The late emperor was delighted and, to reward General Hua's military merits, granted her the title of princess with royal privileges. From then on, Hua Wang became the envy of noble ladies in the capital. She enjoyed the love of 6 brothers and her father's constant favor. As she grew more beautiful, her personality turned colder and more aloof, making her unapproachable. Regarding marriage, she chased away several suitors and even injured some. Gradually, no one dared get close to her. At Tianwen sect, official daughters kept their distance from her. Her height and beauty dwarfed other girls, standing with her only made others look inferior. Yi Piaoling blinked, and at first meeting, she found herself quite fond of Hua Wang. Though aloof, this sister wasn't as pretentious as other noble ladies. After a moment's thought, Yi Piaoling walked over and gently tugged Hua Wang's sleeve. "Sister, hello." Hua Wang looked mildly surprised and gave her a cold glance. "Who are you?" "Yi Piaoling," she smiled. "Let's be friends." Hua Wang stared for a moment, her red lips parting without any warmth. "I don't need friends. This will be needed later," Yi Piaoling said, pointing toward the crowd in the distance. "See how quickly they split into cliques, competing and attacking each other after enrolling? Being alone puts you at a disadvantage. You need friends, and so do I." Hua Wang sneered. "If you want to make friends, find someone else. Why come to me? Because your surname is Hua, and mine is Yi. We're born to be sisters." "Oh?" Hua Wang raised an eyebrow. "All right, enough talk." Yi Piaoling pulled her along. "Come with me to the restroom first." "What?" Hua Wang twitched at the corner of her eye. "Female friendships always start with going to the restroom together," Yi Piaoling said matter-of-factly. "From now on, whenever I go, you accompany me. When you go, I'll accompany you. Together." Hua Wang was speechless. Before she could refuse, Yi Piaoling tugged her toward the restroom. The restroom was deep within the bamboo grove, quiet and secluded, with separate areas for men and women. At the entrance to the bamboo path, Hua Wang stopped. "You go ahead. I'll wait here." "No way," Yi Piaoling said seriously. "You're my good sister. You can't just wait far away when I'm inside. You have to come in." Hua Wang turned, a flash of embarrassment crossing her face. "You go alone then." Yi Piaoling frowned. "Why are you so nervous? It's not like you've never been to a women's restroom before." Just as she spoke, her eyes narrowed, suddenly realizing something. Hua Wang asked coldly, "What did you say?" Yi Piaoling stared at her and asked slowly, "Sister, you aren't actually a guy, are you?" Hua Wang's expression darkened. Yi Piaoling suddenly reached out and touched her chest. Her face changed. "Your chest is fake. You really are a guy." Hua Wang replied helplessly, "Can't girls use padding?" "You can, but not like you. Even through the cotton, I can feel chest muscles." Hua Wang was a bit frustrated. then relaxed with a smile that could topple empires. That's right. I'm a guy. Yi Piaoling was shocked. Then why? Hua Wang sighed. When I was born, my father was on his deathbed. To cheer him up, my mother dressed me as a girl. Unexpectedly, I was soon titled the county princess. My father's health was fragile, he couldn't handle the shock, so I've had to keep this secret. Yi Piaoling nodded, understanding the difficulty. The late emperor trusted the story and granted the title of county princess. If the truth were revealed, it would be considered deceiving the sovereign, a crime unforgivable. Moreover, General Hua suffers from high blood pressure and heart disease. If he knew his precious daughter was actually a son, he'd likely faint. Hua Wang stared at her and sneered, so, what now? You know my secret. Yi Piaoling quickly raised her hand in promise. I'll keep it. I'm about to burst. I'm going in. With that, she dashed into the women's restroom. Hua Wang watched her retreating figure, a faint smile tugging at her lips. After Yi Piaoling came out, she felt much more at ease. Hua Wang was still waiting outside the bamboo grove. Seeing Hua Wang, Yi Piaoling awkwardly smiled. Sorry, I didn't know you were a guy before. Otherwise, I wouldn't have dragged you into the women's restroom. Hua Wang didn't mind. Grabbing Yi Piaoling's wrist, she laughed, Little Yi, I've thought it over. We have to keep being friends. Why? Yi Piaoling asked curiously. Hua Wang sighed. You made the first move, and everyone saw. If you ignore me after going to the restroom, people will start to question my gender. Yi Piaoling nodded. True. From now on, we'll be good sisters in front of others. The two linked arms and walked out of the sect, drawing curious looks and whispers. Hua Wang wore red, exuding an outstanding aura. Yi Piaoling was in a delicate white gauze dress with refined features. Together, they complemented each other perfectly. Some noble ladies sneered, isn't that the worthless daughter of the Xiang family? Why is she hanging out with Hua Wang? No one pays attention to them, they have to stick together for warmth. Hua Wang is Dali's most beautiful woman. Miss Yi must be trying to bask in her glory. Hua Wang is too tall and lacks femininity. Who could stand marrying her? Yi Piaoling couldn't help but laugh. The most beautiful woman in Dali is actually a guy? That would be hilarious if it got out. As the time approached, the new students gathered, the Tianwen sect cultivators began maintaining order, lining up to enter the school. Suddenly, a luxurious carriage sped up and stopped at the gate, followed by a dozen servants, radiating arrogance. It's the carriage of the Duke of An, someone exclaimed. The Duke of An was the emperor's grand uncle, wielding great power. Some envied, the Duke's heir and the county princess are also enrolling. Quite the spectacle. The young ladies stared curiously at the carriage. They say the Duke's heir, Xiao Qingshu, is outstanding, his martial skills rivaling Hua Wang's. That county princess went missing as a child and was only recently found. No one knows what she looks like. As the chatter continued, the carriage stopped. The guards knelt, forming stairs. Yi Piaoling raised an eyebrow, thinking how showy they were. The door opened, and Xiao Qingshu stepped out first, elegant and poised, turning to help his sister down. Soon after, a girl in an ornate gown with a weary complexion carefully stepped down on the guards' backs. Yi Piaoling's eyes widened in surprise. This newly returned county princess of Dali was none other than Xiao Shu, once a maid in the Xiang household. Years ago, Xiao Shu had impersonated Yi Piaoling, got injured, was driven out of the Xiang family, and ended up in a brothel. Xiao Qingshu happened to recognize the birthmark on her chest and realized she was his long-lost sister. He brought her back home. After a blood test confirmed her identity, Xiao Shu instantly became county princess, proudly standing before everyone. Her gaze landed on Yi Shangxiang and narrowed as she approached. Since becoming county princess, Xiao Shu was filled with resentment, hating the Xiang family for making her grovel. Yi Shangxiang recognized her and was shocked. Xiao Shu stopped before Yi Shangxiang, raising an eyebrow. Yi Shangxiang, long time no see. Yi Shangxiang hurriedly bowed. Greetings, county princessin. Xiao Shu sneered. Second miss, don't you know manners? Shouldn't you kneel before a princess? Flustered, Yi Shangxiang dropped to her knees and kowtowed. Your Highness, I greet you. Xiao Shu looked at her coldly, a triumphant smile curling her lips. The ladies in waiting nearby remained silent, aware that the princess was just beginning to show her claws. Xiao Shu's thrill came from Yi Shangxiang's submission, but her true target wasn't her. Where's your sister? I heard she's enrolling in Tianwen sect too. She? Yi Shangxiang looked up anxiously, glancing toward a direction. People automatically stepped aside, revealing Yi Piaoling standing beside Hua Wang, arms crossed, casually observing. Xiao Shu's gaze fell on Yi Piaoling, her eyes brimming with barely concealed hatred. This is segment 4 of 15. Please process the following content according to your logic. Maintain the original paragraph structure, line breaks, and overall layout. Return only the processed result. The last time they met, she had knelt before Piaoling, begging to return to the Falling Blossom courtyard, only to be coldly rejected. Today, she was determined to make Piaoling pay, repaying every humiliation 100-fold. Xiaoshu strode over, forcing a smile as she asked, "Miss Yi, do you still remember me?" Piaoling sized her up and nodded, "You're Xiaoshu." Hearing that name from her servant days, Xiaoshu's expression immediately darkened. She despised that lowly past and snapped sharply, "How dare you? I'm the legitimate daughter of the Duke of Anhua, Princess Anhua, Xiao Mei." "Oh? So now you go by Xiao Mei," Piaoling said with a light laugh. She didn't seem much better than Xiaoshu. Xiao Mei glared at her, chin raised, ordering, "Kneel." Piaoling frowned, "What did you say?" "Kneel." Xiao Mei repeated. "Why?" Piaoling asked. "As a member of the royal nobility, and you just a minister's daughter, it's only natural you kneel to me." "No explanation needed," Xiao Mei declared. Piaoling replied calmly, "The Tianwen sect's rules state that disciples are equal brothers and sisters, regardless of status." Xiao Mei sneered, "We haven't been accepted into the Tianwen sect yet, so we're not disciples." Piaoling thought it over and nodded, that makes sense." Xiao Mei glared furiously, "Then why don't you kneel and kowtow to me?" "Why?" Piaoling asked again. Xiao Mei was momentarily speechless, then shouted angrily, "Don't play dumb. Are you mocking me?" With that, she reached out to grab Piaoling's hair and slap her. Confident in her status, Xiao Mei assumed Piaoling wouldn't dare fight back even if hit. But the moment her hand touched Piaoling, it was firmly grabbed. Piaoling sneered and pushed back, "Get lost." "Ah!" Xiao Mei was pushed to the ground. "Your Highness," the guards shouted in alarm. Xiao Chengxiu's expression changed, and he quickly stepped forward to help her up. "Mayor, are you alright?" Clearly, he doted on this rare sisterly reunion. Xiao Mei, bearing old injuries, coughed up blood from the fall and shock. Xiao Chengxiu shot Piaoling a furious glare. "How dare you injure the princess in public? You have some nerve." Piaoling remained calm, "I was acting in self-defense." "You don't understand." And indeed, he didn't. No one here understood. Piaoling looked up at the sky, her expression lonely. Leaning in Xiao Chengxiu's arms, Xiao Mei gasped for breath, hatred burning in her eyes as she pointed at Piaoling and ordered, "Beat her until she kneels and begs for mercy." The guards, hearing the order, flexed their fists and charged toward Piaoling. Piaoling lightly rose onto her toes, leapt up, and kicked the leading guard to the ground. Everyone was stunned. Hua Wang raised an eyebrow slightly. Rumors said the Yi family's eldest daughter had lost her cultivation and martial skills, but today's display showed her agility was still top-notch. Seeing the guards no match for her, Xiao Chengxiu leapt forward, a gleaming light forming in his hand as he struck toward Piaoling. Her eyes narrowed sharply as she dodged. Xiao Chengxiu's cultivation was deep, his palm strike powerful. Though Piaoling's martial skills were high, she lacked spiritual power and couldn't win in a direct fight. She moved gracefully, turning away to evade. At that moment, a burst of spiritual energy shot from the side, colliding with Xiao Chengxiu. It was Hua Wang intervening. Caught off guard, Xiao Chengxiu staggered backward. "Princess Wang, what's the meaning of this?" he demanded. Hua Wang smiled, "How can I stand by when a good sister is being bullied?" With that, she shifted her stance and attacked Xiao Chengxiu. Knowing Hua Wang's talent and strength, Xiao Chengxiu didn't want to fight but had no choice but to respond. Palm winds clashed, spiritual lights flickered, and robes fluttered in the swirling breeze. Piaoling watched with admiration. The display of spiritual power was truly magnificent. Who wouldn't be drawn to it? In comparison, pure martial skill seemed dull. The Duke's guards sensed a battle between experts and stepped back to watch. Xiao Mei screamed, "I told you to attack Piaoling. Why are you just standing there?" Only then did the guards remember their orders and turn to surround Piaoling. The scene erupted into chaos. Fists and feet flew non-stop. Suddenly, a powerful surge of spiritual energy sliced through the air, breaking up the fight with a sharp whoosh. A commanding voice thundered from above, "Stop at once." Xiao Chengxiu and Hua Wang were stunned and stepped back. Though no victor was declared, Xiao Chengxiu was clearly on the losing side and would be defeated if the fight continued. Piaoling paused, 10 guards lying on the ground clutching their limbs and groaning. Looking up, a white-bearded old man dressed in simple cloth and shoes descended from above the gate, his face full of displeasure. The Tianwen sect cultivators immediately bowed. "Greetings, sect leader." This white-bearded man was Gu Luxian, the sect leader of Tianwen sect. "Fighting on the day you joined the sect? What a disgrace!" Absolutely unacceptable. Gu Luxian landed, his gaze sweeping over the newcomers with frustration and disdain, as if saying, "You're the worst group I've ever taken on." Everyone lowered their heads without a word. Gu Luxian was the second strongest figure in Dali after the regent prince, highly respected, and even imperial relatives called him the patriarch. No one dared to act up in his presence. His eyes landed on Yi Piaoling. She had the most people lying around her, clearly the MVP of the fight. "You, step forward." Gu Luxian barked at Yi Piaoling. Yi Piaoling bowed her head and stepped forward. Gu Luxian scolded, "Since you've entered the Tianwen sect, you should know the rules. Disciples may spar, but brawling like hooligans is forbidden. You've broken the rules and must be punished." Yi Piaoling looked up to argue, "We haven't formally joined the sect or taken a master's oath yet, so we're not disciples." Gu Luxian considered this. There's some truth to that. Listening to Yi Piaoling's words, Xiaomei felt a pang of frustration. She had just said the same thing, yet someone else was using it as an excuse and getting approval. How maddening. Gu Liaxian's face grew stern. "I won't pursue this now, but once you officially join the sect, any future offenses will not be tolerated. Understand?" "Understood," Yi Piaoling said sincerely. "I had no choice." She pointed at the Xiao siblings. "They attacked me first, so I fought back to defend myself." Xiao Qingshu bowed to Gu Luxian and explained, "Sect leader, this isn't an internal sect dispute. It started because Miss Yi was rude to my sister." He turned to Yi Piaoling, his voice grave. "Miss Yi, we'll deal with this when you return home. As a commoner refusing to kowtow to a princess and offending the royal family, I'll consult Chancellor Yi on what punishment you deserve." Yi Piaoling sighed, not wanting the matter to escalate. Her eyes flicked as she said, "I didn't kneel because the regent prince forbade it." "What?" Xiao Qingshu was stunned. Everyone's eyes widened at the mention of the regent prince. Yi Piaoling said, "Not long ago, I spent 2 days studying at Chonghua Palace. The regent prince told me that since my legs aren't strong, I should avoid kneeling during practice, and that I don't have to kneel even when meeting royal family members." Xiao Qingshu was speechless. Yi Piaoling's words sounded suspicious, but no one could verify them. It was well known that Yi Piaoling had indeed been to Chonghua Palace, and the regent prince had personally guided her cultivation. Such a favor was enviable. Xiao Qingshu felt a pang of jealousy. Yi Piaoling raised an eyebrow and smiled. "If they wanted to pressure me with the royal family, I'd just mention Emperor Xiulan and see if they dared challenge that." Xiao Qingshu had no choice but to back down. "If that's really the case, then forget it." Xiaomei panicked, "Brother." Xiao Qingshu shook his head, signaling her to stop fussing. "Who would dare defy the regent prince?" Gu Luxian said sternly, "Since the misunderstanding is cleared up, from now on you are disciples of the sect and must not cause trouble." He ordered the cultivators, "Prepare for the apprenticeship ceremony. Don't miss the appointed time." With that, he swept his sleeves and flew away, clearly disappointed in this batch of disciples. Under the cultivators' guidance, the young masters and ladies entered through the main gate one by one, each holding their name card, and made their way toward the central square of the Tianwen sect, where the apprenticeship ceremony would take place. Yi Piaoling looked around the plaza, majestic and imposing. On the platform ahead were 12 seats. The sect leader and the regent prince occupied the main seats, flanked by the 10 elders of the Tianwen sect. Yi Piaoling immediately spotted Emperor Xiulan. The man was dressed impeccably today, sitting on the high platform like a deity, radiating an air of nobility. Amid the sea of people, she wondered if he had noticed her. Other newcomers couldn't help but glance at the platform, hoping to catch a glimpse of the regent prince's bearing, but his features were indistinct. The appointed time had arrived. Guided by the cultivators, the new disciples lined up neatly in kowtow to the sect leader, the ancestral master, and the 10 elders. The 10 elders were the future instructors, responsible for teaching the disciples various subjects. Only 9 elders were present today. One seat was vacant because the youngest elder was reportedly away on business. With the apprenticeship ceremony complete, the highly anticipated competition to claim the position of first disciple was about to begin. The winner would receive the ancestral master's personally bestowed sword, becoming the senior brother or senior sister of this cohort and the center of everyone's attention. The first disciple not only earned unparalleled honor and status but also enjoyed many future benefits. With the regent prince present, an outstanding performance could even gain his favor. Several young masters with higher cultivation levels held their breath, determined to claim the championship. The cultivator hosting the ceremony announced loudly, "In the past, participation in the first disciple competition was voluntary, decided by dueling on the arena, so few took part. This year, the rules have changed." With a wave of his sleeve, a barrier rose around the field, trapping all the disciples inside. The cultivator continued, each of you holds a name card for the apprenticeship. The competition is to snatch as many name cards as possible. After one incense stick burns, the one with the most name cards will be named first disciple. Inside the barrier, the disciples were stunned. Most of these second-generation heirs had little cultivation and lived lives of luxury. Although all wanted to become first disciple, only a few studious ones had dared to compete before. Now, the rules forced everyone to join the scramble. After a moment, some realized what to do and sprang into action. Xiao Qingshu moved swiftly, striking someone with a palm and seizing their name card as they retreated. Chaos erupted instantly. Those with cultivation fought fiercely for name cards, while the unskilled scattered to the corners, even willingly abandoning their cards to watch from a distance. The real competitors remained few. Yi Piaoling and Hua Wang also stood in a corner. Hua Wang asked, Xiao Yi, do you want to be senior sister? Yi Piaoling shook her head, not wanting the class monitor role, too troublesome and exhausting. Hua Wang sneered, what do you think? She tore her name card into pieces as she spoke. Yi Piaoling understood and nodded. Hua Wang, born male, didn't want to be called senior sister. On the platform, Gu Lucian glared at Yi Piaoling angrily. You're eager to fight, but when it counts, you don't act. This new disciple is really disappointing. Emperor Xiulan asked lightly, who is the sect leader referring to? Gu Lucian pointed to Yi Piaoling. She knocked down 10 people outside the gate alone just now, but now she just stands there, it's infuriating. Emperor Xiulan smiled faintly. Indeed, she's a handful. In a moment, the situation became clear. Several competitors fell back defeated, leaving only Xiao Qingshu and Shimen Chuanxiu holding thick stacks of name cards. Shimen Chuanxiu was the eldest son of the Shimen family, the largest merchant house on the Liuli continent, and his cultivation was on par with Xiao Qingshu's. All eyes focused on them, especially those of the government officials' daughters, who were tense and excited. Xiao Qingshu and Shimen Chuanxiu tacitly stopped, counting their name cards each had 50. The other cards had all been snatched. At that moment, their gaze simultaneously fell on Yi Piaoling's hand. Hua Wang had already torn up her cards. The final card that would decide the winner was in Yi Piaoling's possession. The atmosphere froze. Shimen Chuanxiu smiled, Brother Xiao, you're not going to go for that last name card? Xiao Qingshu sneered, everyone's seen her martial skills, it's not worth the trouble. Besides, she's got Hua Wang backing her. Xiao Qingshu said, if I act rashly, I'd just be helping you. Shimen Chuanxiu laughed, I'm also afraid of being robbed, so I won't make a move. So it's just you and me to settle this? Xiao Qingshu snorted, in this situation, I don't want to fight to the death. He scanned the others. Shimen Chuanxiu immediately understood if they fought, both would be weakened, and someone else might seize the name cards. What now? Shimen frowned. Since the card counts are equal, there has to be a winner, right? Xiao Qingshu sneered and ignored him, walking over to Yi Piaoling with a cupped hand gesture. Miss Yi, I was rude earlier. If you hand over your name card to me, once I'm first disciple, I promise no one will dare bully you. Don't listen to his smooth talk. Shimen Chuanxiu, sensing the situation heating up, shouted, Miss Yi, give me the name card, you won't regret it. I'm a man of my word. Yi Piaoling glanced between Xiao Qingshu and Shimen Chuanxiu. Both were competing for the position of first disciple and vying to befriend her. She sighed, I don't want to offend anyone. Let's keep it fair. She said honestly, just tell me what benefits you can offer. Whoever offers more, I'll give the card to them. No fancy tricks. Shimen Chuanxiu was perceptive and immediately said straightforwardly, I offer 10,000 taels of silver. Yi Piaoling turned to Xiao Qingshu. Did you hear that? 10,000 taels. What about you? Xiao Qingshu was stunned. In terms of money alone, the Duke of An's household couldn't compare to the Shimen family. He knew he couldn't win, so he smiled and said, what's money? I'll give you a golden cued sword from the western regions, worth a fortune and hard to come by. Shimen Chuanxiu laughed, in the east of our city, there's an armory pavilion with every kind of sword, spear, and bow. I'll give you the entire pavilion, plus 10,000 taels of silver notes. Yi Piaoling nodded in approval, then looked toward Xiao Qingshu. Xiao Qingshu gritted his teeth and said, swords and knives are common things. The Duke's mansion has a rare lingji mushroom that's been carefully preserved for years. It can be used to make miraculous elixirs. I'll trade it for your name token. Shimen Chuanxiu was unwilling to be outdone. To the west of the city, there's a pharmacy stocked with all kinds of ginseng, lingji, and deer antlers. I'll give you the pharmacy, the armory pavilion, and 10,000 taels of silver notes, all yours. Xiao Qingshu's face darkened. You? Yi Piaoling clapped her hands and said, great. Young Master Shimen is the most straightforward. This name token belongs to you. With that, she raised her hand and tossed the name token to Shiman Chuanxiu. Shiman Chuanxiu caught it and smiled, cupping his hands together. Thank you, Miss Yi. I will fulfill my promise after the ceremony. All right. Yi Piaoling's smile was sly. With this move, she had definitely won. Xiao Qingshu was speechless. The incense burned out, the barrier faded, and Shiman Chuanxiu strode confidently toward the cultivators, handing over 101 name tokens. After inspection, the cultivator loudly announced, "The winner of this trial is Shiman Chuanxiu. From today on, Shiman Chuanxiu is the chief disciple of the Tianwen sect. All disciples shall take him as an example, study diligently, and never slack off." Before the words fell, Gu Luxian descended from the high platform and personally handed Shiman Chuanxiu the big disciple's sword. Shiman Chuanxiu knelt proudly and accepted the sword. Thank you, Master Ancestor. In the future, I will lead my brothers and sisters by example and train hard. Xiao Qingshu's face turned dark. The position of senior brother should have been his, but it was snatched by Shiman Chuanxiu. Xiaomei tugged his sleeve and said resentfully, "Brother, it's all Yi Piaoling's fault. Senior brother should be you." Xiao Qingshu clenched his fist but said nothing. Shiman Chuanxiu turned with the sword, looking around smugly. The disciples saluted in unison, "Greetings, senior brother." Xiao Qingshu forced a salute, bowing his head to avoid looking at his triumphant rival. The opening ceremony ended there. Everyone prepared to go home. Suddenly, Xiaomei rushed forward, knelt, and shouted, "Regent Prince, your servant has something to report." The disciples froze, unsure what she was up to. Gu Luxian and the elders also turned to her, expressions surprised. Di Xiulan cast a cold glance. Xiaomei declared loudly, "Miss Yi Piaoling of the Prime Minister's mansion just publicly claimed that she has the Regent Prince's special permission to be exempt from the Dali etiquette, not needing to pay respects to the royal family. Your servant fears she's recklessly spreading false decrees, impersonating the Regent Prince, breaking the law, and damaging his reputation. I report this matter." Yi Piaoling listened, her logic clear and sound. This was trouble. Di Xiulan had never granted her such authority. With his cold nature, if he knew someone was impersonating him, he would never let it slide. Seeing Yi Piaoling's frustration, Xiaomei was even more convinced she was lying. Liang Yun, leader of the Zhanghua Palace's secret guards, had once said the handkerchief's owner, Yi Piaoling, had offended the Regent Prince. It was already surprising she was forgiven, let alone granted special privileges. Xiaomei exposed her openly. She proudly asked, "Your Highness, did you really grant Yi Piaoling the privilege to not bow to the royal family?" Di Xiulan's face darkened, clearly displeased. The air froze, everyone held their breath. Yi Piaoling forced a smile, bracing for punishment. After a moment, Di Xiulan coldly said 2 words. "That's right." His voice was icy. "This is my decision. Any objections?" Xiaomei panicked instantly. Yi Piaoling was stunned. Did she hear that right? This cold and ruthless man was actually backing her lie? Everyone's expressions grew complicated. So Miss Yi really had the Regent Prince's attention and favor. Envy, jealousy, and resentment filled the air. Xiaomei turned pale, stunned for a moment, then hurriedly kowtowed, "Your servant dares not. Since it is the Regent Prince's decision, your servant will obey." Di Xiulan ignored her, turning his gaze to Yi Piaoling lazily. "Stay behind. I have something to say to you." The new students felt a twinge of bitterness. The Regent Prince had her stay behind alone, clearly caring for her deeply. Everyone was curious just how lucky Miss Yi was to enjoy such treatment. Once everyone left, Di Xiulan slowly descended the platform. Yi Piaoling immediately smiled and approached. "Thank you, Your Highness, for helping me out earlier." Di Xiulan raised an eyebrow. "Using me as a shield? You're bold. It was a desperate move. I trust you wouldn't mind." Yi Piaoling smiled sweetly, her tone smooth. "Since Your Highness was so merciful today, I should return the favor. How about I give you a bath?" "A bath?" "Yes. You look like a southern baby who's never had a proper bath." Yi Piaoling excitedly rubbed her hands. "Bathing means I help wash you during your bath. Even if you're not dirty, I can scrub. I have good technique and promise to make you comfortable, not hurt you." The air instantly grew still. After a moment, Di Xiulan said softly, "What's this? Trying to seduce me?" "Ah." Yi Piaoling froze. Then she realized that in ancient times, men and women had clear boundaries. Her suggestion was indeed a little suggestive. But as long as she could get close to the Regent Prince's bath towel, the method didn't matter. Since he seemed interested, Yi Piaoling lowered her head and twisted her skirt. "Oh dear, that sounded too forward. I'm embarrassed now." Di Xiulan was speechless. Yi Piaoling's eyes glistened with moisture as she shyly asked, "So, do I still have a chance?" Di Xiulan narrowed his eyes and suddenly smiled. The smile was dark, tinged with something eerie. "Of course." His voice was deep and dangerous. "But you must give your whole body, mind, and life. Are you willing?" "What?" Yi Piaoling jumped, her face full of question marks. She understood giving her body and mind, but what did giving her life mean? It sounded terrifying. "If you don't refuse, I'll take that as a yes." Di Xiulan said indifferently, "A few nights from now, I'll have Liang Yin bring you to Zhonghua Palace." "For what?" Yi Piaoling asked in a trembling voice. "You'll find out then." He smiled meaningfully, then turned and left. Yi Piaoling stared at his back for a long time, thinking to herself, "Hopefully, it's not another dragon feeding session." She shook her head hard. No negative thoughts, got to keep a sunny attitude. This is content from passage 7 of 15. Please process the following text according to your logic. Maintain the original paragraph structure, line breaks, and overall layout. Return only the processed result. Looking on the bright side, maybe he knew the slumber curse was about to take effect and sent her to break it, that seemed more likely. Yi Piaoling comforted herself as she stepped out of Tianwen sect. Outside the gate, Hua Wang and Shimen Chuanqiu were waiting for her. "Miss Yi, what did the regent prince say to you?" Shimen Chuanqiu asked, curious. "Nothing much," Yi Piaoling forced a smile. "Just warned me to study hard and not to fight anymore." "He didn't give you a hard time, did he?" Hua Wang asked. "No," Yi Piaoling replied. "You two waiting for me? What's up?" Shimen Chuanqiu said, "The things we promised you, we can hand them over now." "You mean the armory, the pharmacy, and the silver notes?" Yi Piaoling immediately pushed her worries aside, forgetting about feeding dragons at Zhonghua Palace. "Making money comes first." Shimen Chuanqiu nodded. The household servants had already prepared the silver notes and respectfully handed them to Yi Piaoling. 10,000 taels, he said. "Now let me take you to the armory and the pharmacy." Yi Piaoling tugged Hua Wang's sleeve. "Hua, come with me." Hua Wang nodded. "Sure, let's join the fun." The three rode in a carriage to the herbal shop in the east side of town first. Shimen Chuanqiu admitted, "The pharmacy and the divine weapon pavilion are my hobbies. Business is mediocre, but the goods are genuinely good." Yi Piaoling said firmly, "That's fine. I'll find a way to get the business going." Shimen Chuanqiu was surprised. "You don't seem to care much about anything, even competing to be the top disciple, but you're interested in making money?" Yi Piaoling sighed, her expression heavy. "I've seen through too much with these eyes. The only thing that can fool them now is money." On East Street, there were several medical clinics and pharmacies. The Shimen family's shop was among them, with a simple, straightforward signboard that read Xuanhu Pharmacy. "This is Miss Yi from the Prime Minister's mansion. I've already handed over the pharmacy to her. From now on, she's the owner here, everyone should follow her lead," the shop manager quickly called out to the staff, introducing the new boss. Xuanhu Pharmacy had 3 assistants and an elderly Chinese medicine doctor on duty. The old doctor had white hair but looked vigorous, like a reclusive master. The manager pointed to him. "This divine doctor has superb medical skills and knows health preservation. He's 28 years old, strong and healthy." Yi Piaoling was puzzled. "Really 28? He looked at least 82. The manager confirmed, "Yes, 28. Yi Piaoling admired him greatly, never seen such an old-looking young doctor, truly a medical miracle. She cupped her hands respectfully toward the doctor. "May I ask your honorable name?" The old doctor lifted his head and said loudly, "My name is Shimen Wuming." Yi Piaoling admired him even more. "Wuming? That name suits a healer perfectly." Shimen Wuming nodded proudly. "Of course." Shimen Chuanqiu awkwardly explained, "He's my uncle. He studied medicine and alchemy since childhood and even tested hundreds of herbs on himself. That's why he got poisoned and looks like this now. But his medical skills are top-notch." Yi Piaoling nodded in belief. The pharmacy's herbs were top quality, fragrant and rich. Having a great doctor and quality herbs but still poor business, that's a real shame, Yi Piaoling sighed. The manager explained, "There are too many pharmacies on this street. Competition is fierce. Our herb costs are high, so we can't sell cheap. We rely on regular customers." Yi Piaoling thought for a moment. "It's okay. I'll figure something out." The manager was surprised. "Miss Yi has a plan?" Even the eldest young master didn't come up with one. Yi Piaoling walked to the entrance and pointed at the signboard. "First, change the name. Now they're all called Xuanhu, Jishir, or Xuanji. Too similar. Customers compare prices and always pick the cheapest." Shimen Chuanqiu frowned. "Change the name?" Yes, Yi Piaoling said. The name must be unique, simple, memorable, and directly address customers' needs. The manager hesitated. Do you have a good name? Yi Piaoling held up 3 fingers. 3 characters, sick? The manager was stunned. Sick? Hua Wang couldn't help but laugh. Shiman Chuanqiu frowned. You mean renaming Xuanhu Pharmacy to sick? Yi Piaoling was firm. Exactly. The manager suddenly understood. Brilliant. Sick is simple and direct. When patients see it, they'll feel this is the place they should come to. Shiman Chuanqiu whispered, makes sense. Sick? If you're sick, come here. Cure guaranteed. Wonderful. He smiled, praising Yi Piaoling's sharp mind. Yi Piaoling smiled back. Let's replace the sign first and see how it goes. The manager was excited. Okay, I'll do it right away. After leaving the pharmacy on the west side of town, the 3 went to the armory on the east side. On the way, Shiman Chuanqiu pondered, why not rename the armory too? Call it Chopped? Yi Piaoling laughed out loud. Chopped? Are you selling kitchen knives? Shiman Chuanqiu mused, yeah, that might not be appropriate. The armory was called Divine Weapon Pavilion, even quieter than the pharmacy, with only a manager and 1 assistant. Shiman Chuanqiu said, in peaceful times, no one is eager to buy swords. Buyers are either martial artists or wealthy heirs. Swords last a long time, so there are only a few armories in town. Yi Piaoling checked the ledgers, frowning. 2 swords sold a few days ago, but none today. Sales are dismal. The manager sighed, that's the market. Other armories are the same. Hua Wang crossed her arms. Changing the store name won't fix this. Exactly, sales matter most. Yi Piaoling smiled mischievously. If there aren't enough customers, just sell more. If someone buys 1 sword, sell them 2 or 3. The manager smiled bitterly. Miss Yi, that's easier said than done. Customers only want 1. How do you convince them to buy more? Yi Piaoling said, simple, I'll demonstrate. After a moment, a man in black with a bamboo hat walked into the shop, looking like a hero. Yi Piaoling approached. Sir, what kind of weapon do you need? The man said, a blue steel sword. Yi Piaoling asked, for day use or night use? The man was stunned. Swords have day and night versions? What's the difference? Yi Piaoling explained, day swords are short for surprise attacks, night swords are longer for better reach in the dark, enhancing your attack power. The man nodded. Makes sense. Yi Piaoling continued, experts need specialized gear. Use the short sword by day, the long sword by night. With your skills, you'll dominate the martial world. This is segment 8 of 15, processed according to the requested logic, with original paragraph structure, line breaks, and overall layout preserved. The burly man was convinced. Yi Piaoling took down 2 swords from the wall, 1 long, 1 short. These 2 swords, one is ultra-thin for daytime use, the other is extended length for nighttime. The man frowned in confusion. Ultra-thin and extended length? What does that mean? Yi Piaoling explained, ultra-thin means razor-sharp, able to draw blood with a single strike. The extended length suits your tall stature, ordinary people would find it a waste. The man fell silent for a moment, then sighed. I've seen many legendary weapons over the years, but I didn't expect there to be so much nuance in swords and knives. How much for these 2? I'll buy them all. The shopkeeper was stunned and quoted a price. The short sword is 100 taels, the long one 150 taels. The man nodded, ready to pay. Yi Piaoling then pulled out a box of throwing darts. Also, these are ultra-thin, imperceptible hidden weapons. Used with the day and night swords, they're absolutely unbeatable. The man tried them out and eagerly bought them too. 50 taels. I want these as well. He left fully loaded, excitedly boasting about these magical weapons. Shiman Chuanqiu slammed his fist on the table in admiration, surprised that the Yi family's eldest daughter possessed such skills. The shopkeeper sighed, Miss Yi is really impressive, buying 1 sword but ending up with 3. Hua Wuhuan was curious. Xiao Yi, how did you come up with this idea? Yi Piaoling smiled. A sudden inspiration, after all, I used these often in my past life. The shopkeeper asked, will you sell them from now on as day and night versions? Yi Piaoling nodded. I want to develop more varieties, give the products a soul. Selling isn't just about utility, it's about expressing taste and emotion. Who in the martial world doesn't want a unique weapon? The hero who just bought these swords isn't just buying weapons, he's buying a sense of identity and depth. The shopkeeper nodded repeatedly. Anything else? Yi Piaoling said, marketing will rely on young Master Shiman. You're the senior disciple of the Tianwen sect, a prominent figure in the imperial city. Your swords will drive sales. She handed Shiman Chuanqiu a wing-engraved, extended-length night sword. This one suits you well. Take it and promote it. If sales pick up, you profit too. Shiman Chuanxiu agreed immediately, finding the sword quite special. A few days later, the Divine Arms Pavilion's reputation soared. Many heroes and young masters flocked to buy. At a tavern, several martial artists gathered, showing off their new legendary weapons. Brothers, mine is the ultra-thin day sword. What about you? I have the extended-length day sword. This one's the ultra-long night sword. I've got the night sword with instant blood absorption. Instant absorption? What's that? One strike, and it instantly drains the opponent's fresh blood. Wow, that's fierce. Of course, the price is high too. At the same time, the fame of sick spread rapidly. After the signboard changed, those seeking medicine or treatment would pause and ask, "Sick?" Yes. Unable to resist, they would step inside to see. The legends of the Divine Arms Pavilion and sick quickly spread throughout the imperial city's business circles. Merchants from all trades began to imitate. On East City Street, the regent's carriage passed by. The common folk respectfully moved aside and bowed. Emperor Xiulan's gaze stopped at a tavern. The Tianxiang Tower had been renamed Drunk. Further along, a brothel had changed its sign to Slept. Ahead were two cloth shops, one called Worn, the other called Taken Off. Taken Off was clearly busier, with an inexplicable allure. Passers-by couldn't help but enter Taken Off, and ended up buying clothes. Emperor Xiulan furrowed his brows. Why have so many shops on this street changed to names like these? Liang Yin quickly explained, "My lord, recently many shops in the imperial city have adopted these kinds of names to attract customers. Even martial arts sects are starting to follow suit. For example, the Chaotiang sect is said to be planning to call themselves Sund." Liang Yun continued, "It all started with a pharmacy called Sick, run by Miss Yi. Since the rename, business has boomed." Yi Piaoling? That's right. She also took over the Divine Arms Pavilion, and its fame exploded. Many people are buying swords. An undercover agent from the Zhonghua Palace went there. Miss Yi recognized him, didn't charge, and even gifted him a sword called the Daytime Mini-Wing. That agent praised the Divine Arms Pavilion's weapons as uniquely crafted with excellent appearance. Emperor Xiulan smiled faintly, stroking his abacus beads, saying little. Finally, he said calmly, "Bring her to Zhonghua Palace tonight." "My lord, you want to keep her in Zhonghua Palace tonight?" Liang Yun's expression tightened. "Not go to 100 Demon Mountain?" Tonight's moon was full. The soul separation curse would activate. In the past, the Lord would go to the secret cave of 100 Demon Mountain to rest for a day until his soul returned. No need for such trouble. Emperor Xiulan closed his eyes, the corners of his lips curling slightly. After tonight, perhaps the soul separation curse will be completely lifted. Night fell. Yi Piaoling lay in a moonlit rocking chair, flipping through ledgers, checking the income from Sick and the Divine Arms Pavilion. A simple but joyful smile appeared on her face. Fox Shadow said, "Miss, you used to be listless, but now you're radiant." "Yes. How to relieve sorrow? Only by getting rich quickly." Yi Piaoling sighed, then added, "We've earned so much, we have to celebrate. Tell the kitchen to prepare 2 deluxe late-night meals. Whatever you want to eat, just say it, we'll have a good drink." "All right." Fox Shadow happily agreed. Just as Fox Shadow left, 3 figures suddenly descended from above, Liang Yun leading 2 subordinates. "Miss Yi, please come with us." Yi Piaoling's expression tightened. Emperor Xiulan said he would send people to Zhonghua Palace in a few days. That must be them. A terrifying, sinister smile flashed through her mind. "Give your body, mind, and life, are you willing?" That gentle yet twisted tone made her scalp tingle just thinking about it. Obviously, they wanted to feed her to the dragon. Yi Piaoling jumped up fiercely, clutching a corridor pillar tightly. "I'm not going. I haven't finished spending my money, I can't die yet." Liang Yun sighed helplessly. "Miss Yi, let go yourself. Don't force us." Yi Piaoling held on even tighter. Fox Shadow returned from the kitchen and was shocked by the scene. Seeing her rescue arriving, Yi Piaoling shouted, "Fox Shadow! Zhonghua Palace wants to kill me!" Fox Shadow's face changed drastically and she hurriedly ran off. Yi Piaoling called after her, "Where are you going?" Fox Shadow replied, "To tell the kitchen, no need to prepare 2 late-night meals anymore, just 1 for me." "Stop right there!" Yi Piaoling shouted angrily, "You're my bodyguard. When I'm in danger, you only think about dinner?" "No, I'm also thinking about the coffin." Fox Shadow said with a calculating look, "After dinner, I'll order a coffin for you, Mississippi. What shape do you like?" Yi Piaoling, "Make it triangular, unique." Yi Piaoling snapped angrily, "You have no conscience. The Chonghua Palace is going to capture me to feed the dragon, and you're just standing by? Doesn't your conscience hurt? Feed the dragon? Liang Yun quickly explained, Miss Yi, you misunderstood. The prince wants you to go to Chonghua Palace, but not to feed the dragon. I don't believe it. It's true. That dragon has already run away. Run away? Yi Piaoling's eyes widened. Liang Yun said, yes, it escaped from its cage. It's no longer in Chonghua Palace. Yi Piaoling breathed a sigh of relief, thinking she no longer had to worry about being used as food. She slid down from the pillar, straightened her clothes, and said, good that it's gone. Only a fool would keep such a thing. Liang Yun frowned, are you calling the prince a fool? No, Yi Piaoling hurried to explain, I mean the dragon is the fool. It ran away, so the prince doesn't have to keep it anymore, that means the prince is smart. Look at that dragon, malicious and not very bright. Anyone who keeps it is just a sucker. Yi Piaoling shook her head and sighed. The koi fish in the fish tank overheard feed the dragon, flipped over, and perked up to listen. Malicious and low IQ? The koi instantly flew into a rage. Once I regain my true form, I'll make sure you don't have a single bone left. After making her vow, the koi flipped back over, pretending to be dead. In the courtyard, Liang Yun asked helplessly, Miss Yi, can you come with us now? Yi Piaoling raised her brow, let's go. The big threat is gone, so I have no worries. Fox Shadow asked, are we still making the coffin? Yi Piaoling was silent. Fox Shadow said, why not start making it now? Even if you don't use it right away, it'll come in handy sooner or later. Yi Piaoling nodded, you're right. Let's make it then. Remember, it has to be a triangle, an equilateral triangle, with all three sides the same length. Fox Shadow agreed. Yi Piaoling and Liang Yun arrived at Chonghua Palace and headed straight to the regent prince's chambers. Outside, dark guards were posted. Only Liang Yun was allowed to bring Yi Piaoling inside. Miss Yi, please lift the curse on the prince, Liang Yun said. Yi Piaoling smiled, having guessed this was the issue all along. I know how to handle this. Leave it to me, Yi Piaoling said. But I want to make a deal, I expect some payment. Liang Yun glanced at the full moon and said, we're late. The prince's curse has already taken effect. Wake him first, then we'll talk about payment. Yi Piaoling thought for a moment. His bathrobe wasn't expensive, so she could agree. Fine. Liang Yun led her to the hot spring behind the chambers. In the pool sat the regent prince, dressed in a pure white bathrobe, his black hair falling down, long lashes closed, exuding an aura of nobility. He was motionless, clearly in a deep sleep. Yi Piaoling's eyes landed on his bathrobe and lit up. Wearing clothes while bathing? That's way too proper. She pointed excitedly at the robe. Can I help him take it off? Liang Yun looked awkward. That's not really appropriate, right? He'd get upset if he woke up and found you stripping him. He wouldn't. Yi Piaoling couldn't wait. Liang Yun was speechless and covered her face. With the prince's good looks, which girl could resist? All right, I'll wait outside. You do what you need to do, just don't mess things up. She hurried away. Yi Piaoling squatted by the spring, sniffing for breath. Sure enough, no breathing. She smiled and jumped into the water, starting to search for the bathrobe's ties. Her hands touched the man's perfect body, strong and firm, yet with an evil hint. She blushed. A bit embarrassed. After hesitating, she decided to wake Di Shulan first. I'm still a lady. I'll wait for him to wake up and take off the robe himself. A gentleman uses words, not hands. She sighed and leaned in. One kiss would wake this sleeping regent prince. Before her was Di Shulan's magnified handsome face, as beautiful as a god or demon, so close and so tempting. Yi Piaoling closed her eyes to focus and gently kissed the man's cold, thin lips. Perfectly shaped, cool to the touch. Having learned from experience, she didn't pull away immediately but continued to nibble softly, silently chanting. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Suddenly, darkness overwhelmed her. Yi Piaoling felt as if she was pulled into another dimension, the world spinning wildly, wind and thunder roaring in her ears. Ah! She screamed, opened her eyes to total darkness, her body swirling in a vortex, spinning wildly downward. Warning! Host, you've been hit by a sleep curse. Your soul has left your body and entered the detached soul dream realm. The ridiculous system sounded promptly. What? Yi Piaoling panicked. You mean he infected me, and I'm trapped in his dream? Exactly. System detects this as a spring dream. A spring dream? Yi Piaoling's eyes went wide. The vortex dissipated, revealing a gloomy, dark chamber with fluttering red silk curtains. She found herself lying on a huge bed, naked except for a thin red veil, her wrists chained with iron shackles. What the hell? She stared in disbelief. Suddenly, the dream storyline flooded her mind. In the dream, she was a peach blossom spirit blessed by heavenly energy, captured by the demon emperor for cultivation. The demon emperor wanted to practice dual cultivation with her. This wicked ritual lasted night after night, ultimately leading to his full power and her spiritual energy drained to death. This plot was definitely a spring dream. She began to panic. System, is the demon emperor Xiaolan? Yes, the ridiculous system said excitedly. But the detached soul dream is another world. Xiaolan won't recognize you, he's the demon emperor here and will try to kill you to boost his power. Piaoling couldn't help but ask, what if I die? System, if you die in the dream, your soul will shatter and vanish. She asked again, what if he dies? System, he's the dream master. If he dies, his soul returns to reality, but you'll be trapped forever in the dream, and your soul will eventually vanish. Piaoling was devastated. So, no matter who dies, I'm screwed. Congratulations, you're right. What's there to congratulate? She cursed, tell me, how do I get out? System, only by breaking the dream can the host wake up. Piaoling asked, how do you break it? System, when dream and reality overlap, the dream shatters. She pressed for details. The system suddenly glitched, only fragments of its voice coming through. The dream will shatter. Will shatter. 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 And then total silence. Piaoling. Of all times, this system always breaks down, no signal or mic malfunction. This system is seriously frustrating. Her mind was racing like 1,000 wild horses galloping. The ridiculous system was unreachable, she had to rely on herself. She looked around. The royal chamber was empty and cold, like a prison without windows. Dim yellow candlelight flickered on the walls, and the heavy door was tightly shut in the distance. She was chained to the bed, there was no chance of escape. This place was completely different from reality. To make them overlap. Piaoling couldn't think of a solution for the moment. Looks like she'd have to wait for the demon emperor to come, maybe talking to him would reveal an answer? Just as she was thinking this, the door suddenly opened, and a figure stepped inside. He wore a black robe, with a noble demon realm hair ornament nestled in his jet black hair. His handsome face was exactly like Xiaolan's. His brows, eyes, and expression unchanged, beneath the gentle exterior lurked endless evil and cruelty. He looked like the region king in different clothes. The demon emperor walked step by step to the bedside. Piaoling curled up hugging her knees, sitting up like a tumbler doll, looking up and saying, listen to me, this world is fake, it's a dream. The demon emperor said nothing, only lowered his head to look at her. She hurried on, you're not the demon emperor, and I'm not the peach blossom spirit, this is all a dream. We can't be trapped here, we have to find a way out. The demon emperor suddenly smiled, a smile so gentle it was deadly. He leaned down slightly, reaching out to touch her face. If you want to escape, you should think of another way, or do you still think I'm easily fooled? What do you mean? You don't believe me? Piaoling panicked. Everything I said is true. Just think about it, doesn't it make sense? Why won't you believe me? The demon emperor sneered coldly, ignoring her, and elegantly untied his waist sash. Piaoling's eyes widened like copper bells. Don't rush to undress, let's talk properly. The man didn't listen at all. He took off his robe, threw it behind him, and lunged forward. Piaoling screamed and struggled but was firmly restrained by the great demon lord. He grabbed her jaw, his voice hoarse, don't waste your strength. Behave, and it'll hurt less. No sooner had he spoken than he waved his hand, and the red gauze on her body instantly shattered into pieces. Piaoling roared, Xiaolan. The demon emperor froze for a moment, then said darkly, how dare you shout another's name in my bed, you've got some nerve. Piaoling. She added, I gave you a nickname, Xiaolan. Do you believe me? The demon emperor snorted coldly, uninterested in her ramblings, and ruthlessly pressed her face down onto the bed. Her face sank into the soft feather quilt, the red gauze brushing lightly against her skin. She shook her head desperately, trying to fling the veil off her face. What could she do? The demon emperor didn't believe her. He had no memory of reality, didn't know Xiaolan, and only saw himself as the demon emperor. Piaoling's head buzzed. She couldn't think of a way to make him believe her. The twisted great demon lord pressed down on her, his thin lips landing on her smooth back with a malicious bite. The dangerous and strange sensation made her scalp tingle and her skin crawl. She immediately struggled wildly. Halfway through her struggle, a sudden sharp pain struck. Piaoling cried, tears streaming down her face. Though it was a dream, the pain felt as real as reality. She scratched at the red gauze in frustration, wanting to beat this man senseless or even slam him to the ground. A long time later. Piaoling lay on the bed, covered in bruises and tears streaming down her face. It was over, she was no longer pure. Her body was humiliated, her dignity trampled. The demon emperor stood by the bed, leisurely dressing. Yi Piaoling glared at his back, grinding her teeth. The great demon lord looked so neat and proper, not at all like someone who just committed a beastly act. The man finished dressing and turned to leave without even looking back. He wouldn't stay overnight. To him, she was just a tool for cultivation. Used and discarded. Anyway, she couldn't run away. Yi Piaoling clenched her teeth. This perverted great demon lord would come again tomorrow night, and every night after. For just one thing. She took a deep breath, telling herself to stay calm. Steady, don't panic, don't lose control. How wicked could the demon emperor really be? He just wanted to kill her. After thinking for a long time, Yi Piaoling made a decision. She was an elf, needing no food or drink, locked up day and night, unable to do anything. As a tool, she had no voice. The only option now was to build a relationship with the demon emperor and slowly earn his trust. Only then might he listen to her. At worst, she could unlock the chains. The candlelight flickered on the wall, time passed silently. The second night. The demon emperor arrived, and Yi Piaoling was already waiting. The girl hugged her knees, sitting at the edge of the bed. Her snow-white skin showed through the red gauze, her body curled up but strangely alluring. She looked like she invited mistreatment. The demon emperor looked down, a wicked smile flashing in his eyes. He was here to torment her. Yi Piaoling's bright, clear eyes looked up at him, greeting, "Great demon lord, you've come?" The demon emperor raised an eyebrow. Yi Piaoling forced a smile, trying to start a conversation. "Yesterday, you said you didn't like me calling out other names, but I don't know yours. What's your name?" She looked up sincerely. "Tell me, or what should I call you?" The demon emperor said coldly, "Call me master." Yi Piaoling. She muttered under her breath, "Really want to slap you to death." The demon emperor frowned, bending down to grab her ankle. "What did you say?" The gesture was both threatening and intimate. The girl's slender ankle was in his grasp, seeming fragile enough to break with a squeeze. Yi Piaoling immediately smiled. "Master, don't get impulsive." The man seemed pleased, chuckling lightly as he released her ankle. Yi Piaoling said urgently, "Please, just be human." The demon emperor smiled but didn't answer. His hand slowly slid up her pale calf. Yi Piaoling's whole body tingled, every hair stood on end. She hurriedly pressed his hand down. "Don't do that, I'm really scared." "You're afraid?" The demon emperor's smile was full of meaning. Yi Piaoling said, "Of course. My life is in your hands. If you're unhappy, I'm finished." "Who wouldn't be afraid?" The demon emperor's gaze deepened. "Very afraid of death?" She nodded, sadness in her eyes. "I didn't used to care about life or death, but once I had someone to care for, I started to be afraid." "What do you care about?" the demon emperor asked. "My money. The money I haven't spent yet." This is content from paragraph 11/15. Please process the following text logically, preserving the original paragraph structure, line breaks, and overall layout. Return only the processed result. Yi Piaoling suddenly grasped his hand, her eyes sparkling. "Great Demon King, let's go spend some money together. Shopping, sightseeing, I've earned so much money, all to buy things for you. Let me spend it all, or else I'll die with no peace." The demon emperor was silent for a moment, then said, "From now on, you'll stay here. You won't need money anymore." Yi Piaoling shouted in despair, "No. I need it. Your only task now is to cooperate with me obediently." The demon emperor leaned close to her ear, smiling coldly. "If I'm in a good mood, maybe you'll live a little longer." Yi Piaoling couldn't help but curse under her breath. After the demon emperor left, she collapsed onto the bed, feeling her heart shatter. His tenderness was a facade, the true face was cold, cruel, and ruthless. They hadn't reached an agreement today either. The demon emperor was growing harsher with her. She closed her eyes, silently cursing the demon emperor's ancestors, vowing to try a different approach tomorrow. She couldn't give up, couldn't stay here. She had to survive and get out. Yi Piaoling clenched her fists, resolute. She didn't believe the great demon king was heartless, she could move him. Night 3. The demon emperor entered the bedchamber and saw her lying on her side, alluring and charming. Sheer fabric outlined her figure, her loose black hair was captivating. "Why are you so late? I've been waiting for you so long." Yi Piaoling cooed, batting her eyelashes flirtatiously. The demon emperor was speechless. Approaching the bedside, he smiled and asked, "What tricks are you up to this time?" She raised a finger. "No matter how dangerous the night, someone with dark circles under their eyes is waiting for you." The demon emperor remained silent. She wrapped her arms around him, pouting, "Hurry and take off this iron chain. I have new games to teach you." He scoffed, whispering into her ear, I don't lack anything, I don't need your lessons. His voice was hoarse, laced with a lascivious tone. Yi Piaoling's heart skipped a beat, but she held back her anger. She hugged him tightly, cooing, You're bad, but I like you so much. The demon emperor's mouth twitched. She looked at him seriously and said, Great Demon King, if we spend every night like this, do you think you might start liking me? He replied coldly, No. But I think I'm starting to like you. The demon emperor narrowed his eyes. What, you don't believe me? She leaned close to his ear and whispered softly, It's called Stockholm Syndrome, people who are imprisoned sometimes fall in love with their captors. His gaze darkened further. Yi Piaoling blinked and softened her voice, Great Demon King, for the sake of how much I like you, give me a piece of clothing. You've never seen me dressed up, you'd definitely like it. I want a white silk chiffon dress, light and airy like a fairy dress. If you give it to me, I'll wear it just for you. How about that? The man remained silent, then coldly chuckled, his voice low, You still don't know your place. His hand slid to her waist, gently stroking, his tone icy, You don't need clothes, and I don't have the patience for your games. Yi Piaoling wasn't angry, she let out a playful hum, Cheapskate, won't even give me a dress. Then she softened her tone, acting coy, Then give me a flower. Her eyes shimmered, her lashes fluttered, I heard there's a mandrake flower in the demon realm, very special. When you come tomorrow night, pick one for me. The demon emperor didn't reply, his fingers lightly tapped her lips. You and your mouth are really annoying. Then he suddenly pinned her down on the couch, sealing her mouth with a kiss. Yi Piaoling cursed inwardly, but her teasing only made the demon emperor more audacious. Afterwards, he dressed as usual and left. Yi Piaoling tried one last time, grabbing his coat corner and quietly asking, After you're done, you just leave. Have you ever thought about how I feel as your tool? The demon emperor turned, looking at her coldly, What do you want? Tears shimmered in her eyes as she whispered, Can you stay tonight? I heard thunder outside, and I'm scared. I've been afraid of rainy nights since I was little. The demon emperor raised an eyebrow. Yi Piaoling frowned, When it rains, the cold iron and flying strands of hair, they look so scary. She clutched his sleeve, pleading, I don't want to be alone. Please don't go. The demon emperor chuckled lightly, coldly shook off her hand, and turned away. Yi Piaoling was stunned. Stifling the ache, she jumped up, grabbed the red curtain, and threw it hard at the door, Go to hell. You bastard. Outside the bedchamber, the moonlight was bright, and the night sky calm and peaceful. Night 4. When the demon emperor arrived, Yi Piaoling was lying on the bed, completely giving up. She lay on her back, legs crossed, looking lazy. The man's eyes darkened. She used to be shy, hiding behind the red curtains, now she acted like a master, unconcerned. He felt uneasy, as if she'd been exposed to others' desires. The demon emperor approached the bed. Yi Piaoling rolled her eyes, You're here? Come sit, she said lazily, do it yourself. The demon emperor was silent, eyes fierce. With a wave of his hand, the iron chain disappeared. Beside her appeared a white fairy dress. The dress you wanted. Put it on yourself. Yi Piaoling was stunned. No matter how she begged before, he never removed the chain, now he suddenly agreed? She touched her free hands in disbelief, then looked at the delicate white chiffon dress. The demon emperor snorted coldly, satisfied? She hesitated for a moment, hope rising in her heart. She immediately got up, hugged his waist, and said happily, Great Demon King, I knew you'd be good to me. The man looked down at her, his Adam's apple moved. Her soft body pressed against his cold black robe, even through the fabric, she could feel warmth. Originally, he only saw her as a tool, but undeniably, she brought him a different kind of pleasure. She spoke proudly, Great Demon King, let me take the lead tonight, okay? The demon emperor chuckled lowly and stroked her head. Yi Piaoling looked up at him, catching a fleeting flash of tenderness in his eyes, quickly swallowed by coldness. The night was like a dream, emotions unsettled. The demon emperor left swiftly, like wheels turning. Afterwards, he still left. This time she had improved a lot, he seemed satisfied, but still didn't stay. Yi Piaoling sighed deeply, conquering the Great Demon King wasn't going to be easy. But he was gentler than before, which comforted her. Looking at the fairy dress beside her, it was the fruit of her efforts. She picked up the dress and found a bunch of black mandrake flowers lying underneath. Ha! She looked at the flowers in surprise. Yesterday she asked him to pick one when he came, but he refused. Unexpectedly, this time he brought a whole bunch. This is content from segment 12 of 15. Please process the following according to your logic, maintaining the original paragraph structure, line breaks, and overall layout. Only return the processed result. Mandala flowers only grow in the demon realm, their black petals symbolize both love and death. Yi Piaoling was stunned for a long moment before bursting into laughter. She said she wanted a fairy dress and mandala flowers, and he fulfilled both. This meant he was starting to listen to her, keeping her words in his heart, convincing him that everything was a dream and figuring out a way to leave no longer seemed far off. Yi Piaoling put on the dress and happily jumped around on the floor a few times. Only then did she crawl back to sleep. Time passed, though how long, she didn't know. Distant thunder rumbled. Groggily, Yi Piaoling woke up, realizing it was really thundering and raining today. She barely opened her eyes, yawned, and was about to drift back to sleep. But suddenly, her eyes flew wide open. She actually saw the great demon king lying beside her. "You, how did you get here?" Yi Piaoling asked in surprise. The demon emperor closed his eyes and said calmly, "It started raining. I didn't bring an umbrella, so I came back." Yi Piaoling blinked and smiled sweetly. TSK, don't pretend. You know I'm scared of thunder, so you came back just to keep me company, right?" The demon emperor's expression remained impassive. "If that makes you feel better, I'll allow your self-deception." "Sweetheart, you're the one deceiving yourself." Yi Piaoling grinned proudly, tracing circles on his chest with her finger. "It's okay. Love always catches you off guard. It's normal that you're hesitant to face it at first." The demon emperor couldn't help but interrupt. "Aren't you going to sleep?" Yi Piaoling gazed at him tenderly, her eyes lingering. "You're here. I'm too happy to sleep." The demon emperor reached out and pulled her into his arms, his voice hoarse. "Since you can't sleep, I won't either. Let's do something else." "No!" Yi Piaoling immediately protested. "Don't do that, my waist can't take it, boo-hoo." Yi Piaoling's eyes darted around, then she squirmed in his arms and said, "Great Demon King, let me tell you a story." The demon emperor, "Oh?" Yi Piaoling began. "Once upon a time, there was a prince as beautiful as a flower, but he was cursed by an evil spell and fell into an endless sleep. While asleep, he didn't breathe, his condition was severe. One day, the prince's curse flared up again. He hid in a cave and was discovered by a kind and brave young woman. The girl knew how to break the curse, by giving the prince a kiss. When he woke, he wanted revenge at first, but luckily the girl was forgiving and didn't hold it against him. Later, the prince's curse struck again, and he called the girl to break it. She kissed him, but was infected by the spell, her soul dragged into his dream." Yi Piaoling narrated with vivid emotion, her expression turning horrified. In the dream, the prince became the great demon king, and the girl became the spirit he captured for dual cultivation. The girl told him it was a dream, but he covered his ears and ignored her, focusing on being the demon king. Eventually, the demon king sought the girl's affection every night without shame. Over time, he actually developed feelings and grew to love her. The demon emperor couldn't listen any longer. "Nonsense. When have I ever had feelings for you?" Yi Piaoling blinked and excitedly tapped him. "You know the demon king in the story is you." The demon emperor snorted. "Aren't you the same?" Yi Piaoling grew serious. "Exactly. You're the prince cursed into slumber. I fell into the dream because of you." The demon emperor was silent for a moment, then spoke softly. "Looks like you put a lot of thought into this story." "What? I'm telling the truth." "Truth?" The great demon king smirked darkly, his voice gentle. "In reality, your body benefits my cultivation. Don't try to fool me, you can't escape." Yi Piaoling. She was truly stumped. How could she convince the demon king he was dreaming? Her heart fluttered wildly. Taking a deep breath, she told herself not to rush, to take it slow. With time, there'd be a chance to persuade him. Night 5. The demon emperor opened the door, and the girl flung herself into his arms. "Great demon king! Great demon king!" Yi Piaoling called out, shaking like a blooming flower branch, "I missed you." "Did you miss me?" Then she stood on tiptoe and kissed his chin. The demon emperor lowered his gaze. The girl wore a white gauze dress and a mandala flower crown. It was the mandala he had given her, woven into a wreath. The black petals blended with her dark hair, exuding a fallen, seductive charm. "Do I look good?" Yi Piaoling asked. The great demon king answered softly. Yi Piaoling smiled, lifting the hem of her dress to spin. The pure white gauze fluttered, the black flower crown adding contrast, a look both fairy-like and devilish. It made one want to sin just by looking. The demon emperor stared at her, his eyes growing deeper. Yi Piaoling laughed. "The dress you gave me fits perfectly, like it was custom-made. How do you always pick the right clothes?" The demon emperor's voice was low. "Because I know your figure intimately." Yi Piaoling was silent for a moment, then said, "Thank you." "Really, thank you." The man's gaze dropped. She was barefoot on the cold jade floor, her fair feet and pink toenails were clearly visible. The demon emperor said nothing, stepped closer, and picked her up. Her feet left the ground. Yi Piaoling was surprised, then smiled. Great Demon King, admit it, you're treating me better and better. The Demon Emperor sneered coldly. Even so, I won't let you off. Yi Piaoling said firmly, I know you have dark cultivation to complete. I'm willing to sacrifice for you. The Demon Emperor set her down on the bed, raising an eyebrow. Lies. Really? Yi Piaoling said seriously. My love for you transcends life and death. If I lie, may heaven strike me with thunder. No sooner had she finished speaking than thunder roared outside. Yi Piaoling's heart tightened, the corner of her mouth twitched as she pointed at the ceiling. Did you hear that? That's exactly the kind of thunder I meant. Let it strike. No sooner had she spoken than lightning tore through the roof, a blinding flash with a deafening crash. Before she could react, the Demon Emperor scooped her up and retreated several yards. Yi Piaoling, still shaken, opened her eyes to see the bed scorched and smoking where lightning had struck. She stared dumbfounded and murmured, that thunder is really precise. The great Demon King's face darkened as he stared down at her. You lied and the thunder burned the bed, huh? Yi Piaoling responded cleverly, it's okay. The bed's broken, we can play on your bed. The Demon Emperor pondered for a moment, seemingly accepting that excuse, then carried her and turned to leave. Yi Piaoling lowered her eyes, secretly thrilled. Finally, she could leave this prison-like room. Outside, night rain was about to fall, the sky heavy with dark clouds. The Demon Emperor carried her into the bedchamber. As soon as they entered, Yi Piaoling's eyes widened in surprise. Everything before her looked almost identical to the room from earlier, the flickering candlelight, the red curtains, the bed, as if she had returned to the starting point. She almost thought she was trapped in a loop. But soon, she noticed a difference. A large section of windows on the wall had been added and were now closed, though at first glance they didn't seem much different. Yi Piaoling smiled and said, your Demon Realm's interior design really is consistent. The standards are quite strict. Her eyes flickered as she added, I saw a garden behind your room earlier. Can I go there tomorrow? The Demon Emperor replied, you may. But if you try to run away, I'll lock you back in the cage. Yi Piaoling laughed, run away? What a joke. I have to stay with you, I would never leave. The Demon Emperor held the key to breaking the soul separation dream curse. She knew there was no way out without him. Looking into the man's deep eyes, she softened her tone and said, Great Demon King, I will never leave you. The Demon Emperor was silent for a moment, then said coolly, you won't be able to leave either. On the morning of the 6th day, Yi Piaoling woke up to find the Demon Emperor already gone. He was busy with his affairs during the day and only returned at night to cultivate. The Demon Emperor's bedchamber was spacious, with not just a bedroom but a series of palace halls and a garden. Yi Piaoling was free to move around and familiarize herself with the surroundings. Before long, servants delivered over a dozen sets of dresses, shoes, socks, as well as bracelets and hairpins. She looked at the full wardrobe, a slight smile tugging at her lips. The man is starting to take the initiative to give gifts. Seems my efforts haven't been in vain. That night, she made a bowl of clear broth noodles, sprinkled with scallions, healthy and delicious. Darling, I cooked some noodles because I wanted to see you. She pushed the bowl toward the Demon Emperor, smiling, try it quickly, it's tasty, right? The Demon Emperor took a bite, his expression indifferent. Not as good as when you make it. Yi Piaoling slapped the table and exclaimed, what's going on? Are you starting to flirt now? The Demon Emperor sneered, his tone casual, you'll know once you try. Yi Piaoling teased, so, will you get addicted? The Demon Emperor replied coldly, I only care about cultivation. You should understand your own worth. Yi Piaoling huffed and fell silent. The two sat awkwardly in a cold silence. Yi Piaoling sulked quietly, watching the Demon Emperor finish the noodles, her heart racing. She felt like, in his eyes, she was just like this bowl of noodles, a mere source of nutrition. Whether loved or not, in the end, she would be consumed completely. On the 7th day, Yi Piaoling was strolling in the garden. Suddenly, a flash of light appeared, and before her stood a handsome man with silver hair and violet eyes. You are, Yi Piaoling was surprised. I am the Celestial Lord, the man said, I've come to rescue you. Yi Piaoling hadn't expected anyone to come to her aid. The Celestial Lord explained, you are the spirit of the heavenly peach tree, captured by the Demon Emperor because of your unique constitution to cultivate dark arts. If he succeeds, disaster will strike the three realms. The heavenly realm cannot stand idly by. What do you plan to do? Yi Piaoling asked. The Celestial Lord took out a golden hairpin. This hairpin's tip is highly poisonous, just a prick can temporarily suppress his cultivation. You are the closest to the Demon Emperor. At midnight tonight, if you use this hairpin to wound him, his power will be restrained. I will bring forces to eliminate him, and you can return to the heavenly realm. Yi Piaoling frowned. What if I don't wound him? The celestial lord was firm. The demon emperor is a menace and must be removed. You are a spirit of the heavenly realm. Protecting the three realms is your duty. Yi Piaoling muttered to herself, the three realms, who do you think you are? After giving his instructions, the celestial lord was about to leave. Wait! Yi Piaoling called after him. Since you're the celestial lord, let me ask you something. What? The celestial lord asked. How do you make reality and dreams overlap? The celestial lord laughed. Dreams and reality are different worlds. Don't waste your time on such nonsense. Get rid of the demon emperor and you can go home. After he left, Yi Piaoling looked at the hairpin in her hand and sighed. So-called rescue was just a mission. That evening, the demon emperor returned. Yi Piaoling was sitting in the garden, the golden hairpin resting on the stone table. The demon emperor's gaze fell on the hairpin, and his heart stirred. He hadn't given her this hairpin, so someone must have visited her. He reached out and picked up the hairpin. Be careful, the tip is poisonous, Yi Piaoling warned. Oh? The demon emperor looked at her. When you weren't here today, a silver-haired, violet-eyed celestial lord came. Yi Piaoling recounted the entire daytime encounter. They planned to ambush tonight, wanting me to use the hairpin to wound you. The demon emperor was silent for a long moment, then calmly asked, why didn't you help them? Impossible, Yi Piaoling said firmly. I won't allow anyone to hurt you. Your life is my life. If you die, I can't live. A ripple passed through the demon emperor's eyes. He had thought she was just giving lip service, but her gaze when she said that was sincere. Could it be that she had truly fallen for him? Yi Piaoling grabbed his hand, smiling. Now do you believe I'm sincere? The demon emperor stared at her. You really don't want to return to the heavenly realm? Yi Piaoling shook her head. No. I have no feelings for that place. All she wanted was to return to the prime minister's residence and lie in bed counting money. At midnight, the appointed time arrived. The celestial lord brought his celestial soldiers to descend. They had barely landed when they were surrounded by demon forces. It's an ambush, a celestial soldier shouted. The celestial lord's gaze pierced through the battle circle, fixing on Yi Piaoling, who was nestled against the demon emperor. You've betrayed us. I never agreed. You acted on your own, Yi Piaoling replied innocently. The celestial lord scolded. You are a spirit of the heavenly realm, yet you lie with the demon emperor, putting the lives of the three realms people at risk. Yi Piaoling sighed helplessly. There was no way to explain. This is a dream. The three realms and their people are illusions. Only my life is real. The demon emperor raised his hand and made a gesture. The demon guards charged forward, shouting, kill. The demons vastly outnumbered them. A celestial soldier anxiously asked, my lord, what should we do? The celestial lord responded coldly, don't panic. Attack. In an instant, the clash erupted with deafening battle cries. Both sides fought fiercely. Immortal powers collided, moves flashing, light scattering, a magnificent scene. Yi Piaoling couldn't help but applaud. Wow, amazing. The demon emperor frowned. You've never seen a fight before? Yi Piaoling laughed. I have, but such a grand scene, I usually only see on television. The demon emperor looked puzzled. Television? Yi Piaoling explained. Yes, television, an ancient artifact that shows all kinds of things. Several dozen rounds passed with no clear victor. Though the heavenly soldiers were few, each was elite, and the heavenly lord's power was formidable, ordinary demon guards stood little chance. The battle remained deadlocked as the demon emperor lunged forward, striking the heavenly lord with a palm. Their clash was intense. Yi Piaoling watched anxiously. Both were evenly matched in cultivation, making the outcome uncertain. She understood that the heavenly lord had orchestrated her to ambush the demon emperor from behind to secure victory. After a dozen more exchanges, a cold gleam flashed in the heavenly lord's eyes. Enduring a palm from the demon emperor, he used the momentum to counterattack, his sword blade thrusting straight toward Yi Piaoling's chest. Since you have fallen, for the sake of the three realms, you must not live, the heavenly lord declared coldly, delivering a ruthless strike. The sword's light was like a rainbow, its spiritual power overwhelming enough to shatter the heart's meridians. Yi Piaoling's pupils contracted sharply, thinking, could this be the legendary heavenly punishment? Suddenly, a figure darted forward, snatching her away before the sword could strike. The long sword sliced through the demon emperor's sleeve, blood dripping down, and the fierce attack sent tremors through the surroundings. Yi Piaoling was firmly protected by the man, who blocked every attack aimed at her. As the spiritual waves dissipated, Yi Piaoling remained unharmed, looking up in surprise. You? The demon emperor's face was pale, clearly injured. Yi Piaoling inspected the man's arm. The sword wound was still bleeding. "I'm fine," the demon emperor said softly. The heavenly lord's expression darkened. Taking that palm blow while attacking Yi Piaoling caused his blood to surge wildly in his chest. Yi Piaoling glared fiercely at the heavenly lord. "No honor in fighting, you got my demon king hurt." With that, she flicked her wrist, shooting out a golden hairpin. The heavenly lord was shocked. Peach Blossom Spirit doesn't know martial arts? He hurried to dodge but still got slashed across the arm by the hairpin's blade. His face changed suddenly. There was poison on the hairpin that could seal one's cultivation. Retreat, he decisively activated a space talisman and vanished with his heavenly soldiers. They ran? Yi Piaoling exhaled in relief. Better that they fled. Continued fighting would only lead to mutual destruction. The demon emperor lowered his head and said, "You're quite skilled." Yi Piaoling smirked. "You just realized that now?" She quickly checked the demon emperor's wound. "Let me see. Is it serious?" "Not really. You can apply some medicine," he replied. Yi Piaoling nodded as the demon guards cleaned up the battlefield, and they returned to their room. After shedding her robe, Yi Piaoling saw a gruesome sword wound stretching across the demon emperor's strong muscles, blood flowing. "TSK, what a waste," she said compassionately, lowering her head to lick the wound. A vein twitched on the demon emperor's forehead as he wondered if she was healing the injury or making it worse. Using her saliva to clean the wound, Yi Piaoling then dipped her fingertips in ointment and gently applied it. "Does it hurt?" she asked. "No," the demon emperor's voice was hoarse. "I'll be gentler and slower if it does." "Say something?" "I said it doesn't hurt." "All right, then I'll be quick. Speak up if you're uncomfortable." Focused on the treatment, she said sadly, "Why are you so foolish, risking your life to save me?" The demon emperor replied calmly, "My dark cultivation is incomplete. Naturally, I must protect your life. But you must also take care of yourself." Yi Piaoling urged seriously, "Seeing you injured made me so anxious. What would I do if something happened to you?" The demon emperor snorted but said nothing. Most of her sweet words were probably false, but when she said she didn't want him to die, her sincerity was unmistakable. This piqued the demon emperor's curiosity even more. Yi Piaoling knew that after today, her relationship with the demon king had truly leveled up. She grinned from ear to ear, even laughing softly in her sleep. That night, the demon emperor heard her muttering in her sleep, "Demon king, this time you finally like me, I try so hard, even dogs would fall for me." The demon emperor's face darkened. She actually called him a dog? He had planned to wake her and scold her, but, seeing her resting peacefully, her eyelashes fluttering like wings over her eyes, he held back. On the 8th night, Yi Piaoling suddenly craved candied fruit. On the 9th day, a plate of candied fruit appeared on the stone table in the garden. On the 10th night, she said she wanted to watch fireworks. On the 11th night, fireworks bloomed over the demon realm sky. The demons gazed at the romantic night sky, whispering among themselves, all saying the demon emperor was in love. On the 12th day, Yi Piaoling watered the mandrake flowers in the garden. The demon emperor appeared suddenly. She was surprised. "Oh, you have time to keep me company today?" The man said nothing, his expression tense, suddenly grabbing her wrist. Yi Piaoling raised an eyebrow. "Who upset you? I'll go give them a beating." The man squinted, his voice low and serious. "Looks like you've truly grown attached." She froze, her face shifting. "No, you're not the demon king." She tried to push away but he held on tightly. "The demon emperor's dark cultivation needs you as a furnace. Without you, he cannot complete his dark arts." A cold smile curved his lips, purple light flickering in his eyes. "If you're unwilling to harm him, then please die for the 3 realms." Before she could react, a palm struck her chest. Crack! Yi Piaoling felt as if her heart shattered. The pain was unbearable. She collapsed. The heavenly lord had delivered a fatal blow, then vanished in a flash of light. Yi Piaoling lay on the ground, tears streaming down her face. This was it. After the attack that night, the demon emperor strengthened the palace's protective barrier, making it difficult for outsiders to enter. She hadn't expected the heavenly lord to be so treacherous, disguising himself as the demon emperor. "Demon king, what should I do?" She couldn't help but whisper through tears. She never found a way to break the dream trap. All her previous efforts were wasted. What terrible luck. When the demon emperor arrived, Yi Piaoling was lying down, coughing up fresh blood. His gaze sharpened as he bent down to lift her in his arms. "Demon king, you've finally come." Yi Piaoling gasped, tears streaming down her cheeks. "It was that heavenly lord. He pretended to be you and tricked me. I was caught off guard." She sobbed, "Demon king, all your feelings for me were for nothing. I'm running out of time." "Shut up." The demon emperor's face darkened as he carried her inside. I won't let anything happen to you. Yi Piaoling said weakly, I'm fading away. The demon emperor growled fiercely, you dare. He laid her on the bed, pressing his hands against her back, channeling the dark energy they had cultivated together into her body, repairing her meridians and mending her shattered heart. You? Yi Piaoling's eyes widened in shock. This was clearly his dark cultivation energy. He used her as a furnace, but in the end, he gave her the dark energy he refined? The sensation was intensely exhilarating, as if she had just gone through another 11 nights of dual cultivation. She felt like she was about to ascend to heaven. Exhausted of her demonic energy, Yi Piaoling collapsed softly onto the bed, tears welling up but unable to shed. The demon emperor asked, feeling any better? Yi Piaoling's emotions were tangled. She had 1,000 words but couldn't bring herself to say any. She lay there weakly, and after a long moment finally said, I want to drink hand-ground coffee. The demon emperor. He said, all right, as long as you get better, you can have whatever you want. Yi Piaoling sniffled, deeply moved. The great demon king had never been this gentle before. And this time, it wasn't some strange, twisted kind of gentleness, it was genuine kindness. Seeing her blood and energy were still weak, the demon emperor helped her sit up and continued casting spells, without hesitation transferring his own spiritual power to her. By the way, you have to change into a bathrobe. In reality, Di Shulan was also wearing a bathrobe, something she had always dreamed of. The pool water was crystal clear. Yi Piaoling gently pushed the demon overlord down into the water and settled him comfortably, slowly removing the emperor's hair ornament from his head. His dark hair spilled out like ink. The man lazily closed his eyes and let her do as she pleased, as if he was being teased. Yi Piaoling glanced at the bathrobe on his body and thought to herself, if only Di Shulan were this obedient. Once back, he would give her anything she wanted. After dressing the demon overlord to look like Di Shulan, Yi Piaoling jumped into the water, her lips lightly touching his cheek. Before her were the man's rosy, thin lips. As soon as they kissed, dream and reality would merge. Suddenly, she felt reluctant. She had finally won him over, but waking up would mean losing it all. Yi Piaoling shook her head. No, she couldn't indulge in a false dream. Thinking of her life hanging by a thread and money yet to be spent, she made up her mind in the spring water. Closing her eyes, she kissed the man's lips. The same scene, the same person, the same events, it was impossible to tell dream from reality. In an instant, reality and dreams intertwined, the wind howled, and time and space twisted chaotically. Everything went black, and a whirlpool surged around her. She was still pinned against the man's chest, quietly kissing him. No matter how illusions surged or time warped. Spring dreams shattered, desire turned to nothingness. After the dizziness passed, the falling sensation disappeared. Silence enveloped the world. Yi Piaoling opened her eyes. Her view was filled with the man's handsome face, and at the edges, the flowers and plants of the Chonghua Palace could be seen. She had truly returned to reality. Overjoyed, Yi Piaoling parted her lips and looked around. Her lips were a bit stiff from the long kiss. They felt numb. The man beside her slowly opened his deep eyes. He raised his hand to wipe his lips, clearly still savoring the moment. Yi Piaoling looked at him. My lord, you're awake too. She couldn't help but ask, did you dream while unconscious? Do you remember what it was about? Of course. Di Shulan rubbed his lips and smiled. You did very well in the dream. Yi Piaoling. So embarrassing. Quickly trying to save face, she coughed. I was teasing you day and night just to come back. Actually, I have my limits. That soul-separating dream is very dangerous. One careless move and your soul could shatter. I only reluctantly went against my principles. You did nothing wrong, Di Shulan said calmly. If it had been anyone else, they would have died in the dream long ago. Yi Piaoling was stunned, suddenly understanding. You knew I'd get pulled into the dream all along, didn't you? Angrily, she said, no wonder you said I had to risk my life, that's what you meant. Di Shulan's expression was gentle but carried a cold cruelty. Only by breaking the dream can the soul-separating curse be completely lifted. That way, it won't happen again. Yi Piaoling glared at him. She realized this man was even more ruthless than the demon overlord in the dream. At least the demon overlord cared for her. Di Shulan was truly cold, treating her as a mere tool from start to finish. This man was simply a breathtaking heartbreaker. What's the matter? Not happy to have come back alive? Yi Piaoling felt her teeth itch with frustration. After barely escaping death's door, who could be happy? She gritted her teeth, thinking, you use me, I'll use you right back. We'll see about that. Yi Piaoling snorted and gave the man a look that said, let's use each other. I helped you so much, you owe me some kind of reward, right? What do you want? Your bathrobe. Yi Piaoling put on a stern face, I risked life and limb for you, and you won't even give me a bathrobe? You stole my mask, took my belt, and now you want the bathrobe, Di Xiulan said slowly. What's next? What else do you want? Yi Piaoling snorted. That depends on what the system wants. She said, my lord, I've given you my whole body, mind, and life. Now I only want your bathrobe. That's not too much, right? Di Xiulan smiled and didn't press further. He stood up and walked elegantly into the room. Yi Piaoling asked, what are you doing? Changing clothes. She waited outside the door. Soon, the man came out dressed. A black, wide-sleeved long robe that, at first glance, resembled the demon overlord's style. Here's what you wanted. Di Xiulan waved his hand, tossing the dripping bathrobe to her. Yi Piaoling hugged the bathrobe like it was a treasure, fully satisfied. My lord, it's been a pleasure doing business. Yi Piaoling said happily and was about to leave. Suddenly, she turned back and said seriously, my lord, you know, after spending so much time with the demon overlord, whenever I see you, I just feel. Feel what? You look so lewd. Ha 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 ha. With that, she used lightness skill to leap into the night sky, her laughter clear and ringing, echoing under the moonlight long after she was gone. Di Xiulan stood beneath the moonlight, hands behind his back. Her laughter still echoed in his ears, but his mind was filled with those soft words. Demon Overlord, I think I've fallen for you. Demon Overlord, do you miss me? Demon Overlord, you're treating me better and better. Demon Overlord, how about letting me be on top tonight? In the soul-separating dream, every day she called out to the Demon Overlord. Di Xiulan slowly closed his eyes. She said the later Demon Overlord had feelings, falling for the imprisoned girl. After a long moment, he chuckled softly, full of meaning. Yi Piaoling rushed back to the Prime Minister's mansion, excited. With the bathrobe secured, the regent's three-piece set was complete, and she couldn't wait to claim her reward. The 12 nights of the soul-separating spring dream had passed, but in reality only 2 hours had gone by. Late at night, the mansion was silent and empty. Fox Shadow wasn't in the falling blossom garden, probably off making her coffin. She dashed into her room. The koi fish in the aquarium floated belly up as usual. Noticing her return, their eyes moved slightly. This woman carried that man's aura. That aura made them both afraid and disgusted. Apparently, whatever she did at Chonghua Palace with Di Xiulan was something unspeakable. The koi angrily blew bubbles, silently cursing, Di Xiulan, you demon. Such fine food, and you've been tormented like this. Yi Piaoling ignored it and went straight to her inner chamber, closing the door behind her. Anxiously, she called out, System, you idiot, is your microphone fixed yet? Ding. Microphone repaired. Host, can you hear me? Hello? Hello hello, hello hello hello? Stop feeding me, I heard it. The bathrobe is here, hurry up and give the reward. Wow. Host, you're amazing. How did you get it? Yi Piaoling didn't want to bring up that embarrassing past and snapped, you've been following me the whole time, how would you not know how I got it? I just went to fix the microphone, didn't see anything. Good that you didn't see it, some parts are better off missed. The system gossiping asked, did you take off the bathrobe yourself, or did he do it? He took it off himself. What? He took your clothes off on his own? The system got excited, squealing like a pig, oink oink oink. Host, you really don't disappoint me. Cut the crap, where's my mysterious grand prize? Give it to me now. This time your mysterious grand prize is 3 high-tech gadgets from the modern era. 3 more? Modern high-tech stuff? Yi Piaoling's eyes lit up. The first one is a modern high-tech household item. Please draw one yourself. With that, 9 cards with question marks appeared before her eyes. What's here? There's a microwave that cooks automatically, a washing machine that does clothes by itself, a fridge that makes ice cream automatically, a TV that plays dramas on its own, an ATM that spits out money automatically, and a mobile hard drive that automatically generates you-know-what videos without clothes. ATM. I want the ATM. Nope, host, you have to draw the card by luck. Only one draw? Yes. Alright, but if I get the mobile hard drive, I'm smashing your silly dog head. The mobile hard drive isn't so bad, it has 500 terabytes of storage. Yi Piaoling ignored it, hesitated for a long time, then picked the card at the very edge. Big prizes are usually hidden in the corners. The card flipped over, fireworks exploded. 3 golden characters shone brightly. Flashlight. Congratulations, host. You've won a flashlight. In an instant, a small, cute, girly pink flashlight appeared in her hand. Surprised? Yi Piaoling was stunned and angry. You didn't say anything about a flashlight just now. I didn't finish listing them, I only got as far as the hard drive. The flashlight's after that.